Hello, y'all. How's it going? It is Monday evening. 8 p.m. around there, and as the schedule, says so specifically, it is around that time. These headphones are backwards. It doesn't really matter, but I'm gonna reverse them all the same. It doesn't really matter, but hey, we're here and we're gonna play more Twilight Princess HD. That's the plan for tonight. Um, yeah. So we last time we did the Arbiter's Grounds and we discovered this big old mirror. I guess actually on retrospect, now that I'm looking at it, it's not that big of a mirror. Actually, I have mirrors larger than this in my bathroom, if we're being completely honest here. But this specific mirror, is a really good mirror. It's gonna have a magical effect, and we need to go retrieve the pieces of it in order to evoke the magical effect on that big graph, that big stone over there. That big stone becomes magical when there's all the pieces of the mirror together. I guess maybe the stone is more magical than the mirror is. The stone is certainly large compared to the mirror, which is relatively small, by comparison. I'll say up front, let me just run through a few things. First off, remind everyone that the streamiversary is in less than 2 weeks. Main plan for that. Been planning that for a bit. It's not going to be like the biggest, most out there stream. I have very simple plans. I'm going to play through Banjo-Kazooie in one session, which I've never done before. I usually savor it. I usually go about a world at a time. Instead, this time I'm going to go through the whole thing in one go. One, 6 hour, 7 hour span. That'll be fun. And then following that will be viewer levels, all lightning round. I'm not 100% sure about that timing. Maybe we'll do more like 1 p.m. or noonish, just so that we get the ball rolling and that we're in the viewer levels by 7 or 8 o'clock. Honestly, I do want to have this be reasonably. I'm not sure. Let's put a pin on it and just say hey, Banjo-Kazooie and a whole bunch of viewer levels, all lightning round. That'll be the plans for the Streamiversary stream. Pretty straightforward, but should be a fun day all the same. A long stream that does have options for more. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll put up. I haven't looked at the story thing on Twitch, but seems like you can use that for promo type material. Maybe I'll put together a promo that's sort of vertical and put it up in the stories thing. And then maybe people will see it and, tune in. Maybe even get us to some of these optional sub-goals, which will be a whole thing. Gotta do a sub-goals with a big stream. That's how I feel. And, want to set some up such that it's well possible that we'll at least hit the first one, if not the second one, if not the third. Making sure that, as we go, there is value, even not if we hit the full thing and get everything met. Also, Extra Life will be mid to late November, so a month from now at this point. The plan is, as I've said before, going to play all 8 original Mario parties, 50 turns of them, and do 50 turns of each. And there'll be a sub-goal or a donation incentive where you can sponsor a CPU, and probably some sort of probably a few more, maybe one that's a lower dollar amount, and maybe one that's a goal for the whole marathon, And also I'll say this might take multiple streams, so, I will say each stream will be around 12 hours maximum, and, if it turns out it takes 2 streams, it takes 2 streams. I'm fine with that. I think that'll be fun. Look for that sometime in around a month from now. Probably at least a week out from the Streamiversary. I'll say that much. I'll want a breather after the Streamiversary. finally, just wanted to say, hey, next stream, spooky stream, gonna play, I think, Luigi's Mansion. I'm gonna put in Luigi's Mansion, I'm just gonna play it. And I was thinking I would try to, like, finish it, maybe? I'm not sure how long Luigi's Mansion is, but if it's longer than a stream, I figured, Halloween is open. And since next week is the streamiversary, you know, I was thinking maybe next week will be Monday, Tuesday, no Thursday stream, and then the streamiversary on Friday. And, that would make sense, I think. Way to, like, schedule that out. Anyway. That, covers the, covers what's coming in the next, week or two. Let's get going on where we are at. Last we left off, I'll say it again. Last we left off, little recap here, and then we'll fly to Storyland. We just got this mirror. It's incomplete. There's 3 pieces of it, and they're in other dungeons. Let me pull up a map here and show you about where they are. So one of them is in mountains, so that's where the Yeti lives, basically. So one of them is over here. There's another one in the Sacred Grove. That's, right here roundabout. That is basically the Temple of Time temple. And finally, there's the Temple in the Sky, which, you know, isn't quite on this map, but we will blast off towards it at some point, as the third one, once we get there. I am pretty sure you do these in order, and given that, I think the first one is the Yeti one. That's also the order that they were presented in. Like, you know, when the cutscene happened last episode, last stream, last installment of, Twilight Princess HD, replaying it. I think that's how it will work, but, I will say, the last stream went pretty quickly. We were able to get into this dungeon really quick-like, and, you know, it definitely seems like from here on out there'll be a tad less bloat, which is lovely to think about. Is lovely. That in mind, it's possible we might just have to go here, find out, like, oh yeah, Yeti, let's go. And then go to the mountains, snowboard. I'm trying to remember how this all happens. Snowboard minigame? Then the mansion, then the dungeon. And if that's all that it is, then maybe we could get there and even go out to the dungeon after that, which would be the Sacred Grove, which would be the Temple of Time. And I'll say, I remember the Temple of Time being wonderful. I remember that Temple of Time, brilliant. One of the best dungeons in the entire series, the Temple of Time. And I would love to see it by the end here. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna say a big maybe on that. We'll see how the night goes. We'll see how long it takes us to deal with the Yeti and all. And if it doesn't take us much time at all, we'll do a thing. Postman in 5, 4, 3. What'd I tell you? Asshole. I hate this guy. I see that the stream manager on my phone still is like, all borked to hell. That's fun. Maybe they'll update it sometime this week, I don't know. I didn't Google after the Friday stream to see if, like, other people were having the same issue. But, doesn't matter. That's fine. I'll manage all the same. Probably should, you know, hey, I've been not that busy, but, you know, a little bit busy. I had a nice weekend, though, of course, you know, I'm currently between things, so weekends, weekdays, kind of blends into each other a little bit. Played a lot of games, 2 games in particular. And also, you know, did other stuff as well, which I will talk about as we go. I'll tell you, I will talk. I'll say, like, being, you know, now that I don't have such big plans, like, in the immediate future, not planning out big things anymore. Don't have quite as much to say. Might as much to talk to each stream, but yeah. Alright, Snowpeak. They mentioned Snowpeak. Great. Thanks for the marker on my map. Couldn't just get Snowpeak added automatically. I had to go to a bar to get it off a map. And, is it just me, or is this world weirdly bloomed? Weirdly bright today? Don't want to adjust your televisions. It's on my screen as well. This is a very bright and overblown, I guess. This is a very bright Hyrule Castle town. Huh? I got an apple? Okay, not gonna worry about that. Let's just go see a Yeti about a mirror. Okay, let's go up to the Zora land. And, you know, see what happens. We gotta go to the mountain. And then, I guess we'll talk to a character. And then we'll talk to a Yeti. And then we'll go to their mansion. And, you know, party down a little bit. The mansion will be pretty chill. Is it technically a mansion, or is it just like a big house? I think it's a mansion. I think it's a mansion. Okay, so we have this marker on our map. Can we transform near these fellas? I'll say, they seem to be pretty chill about me. Maybe these guys have a better disposition to, like, you know, wolves than the Hylians do. You know, more likely to believe that a wolf is cool if it's pretty chill and calm. You know? More in tune with nature or something. I don't know. That's the refrain there. Except it's all frozen. Yeah, what's up? Great helmet. Put it back on. It's really cold. The beast has been hanging out. We got a sketch of the Yeti. I just figured I'd walk. You're probably right. This is perhaps a half-baked plan. Ah, crap. We gotta do some sort of like bit of detective work before we can just head over there and do the dungeon, huh? I know there's also a little bit of snowboarding, so, you know, multiple things. You know what we need? We need the red fish. We need the scent of the red fish, and then we can follow the red fish scent through the wasteland of, you know, ice. You know, we could just walk in that direction until we see a snowboarding path, but, no. The game wants you to do it correctly. And will, you know, probably, like, blizzard you out if you don't, go the correct path. Like, the desert in, Ocarina. Same principle. Okay. I'm gonna equip the, thingamajig. And, what village did she mean? Is it the Zora Domain village? Is there a marker on our map somewhere? Not there. I mean, this path seems pretty fucking simple to me. Like, literally, there's one path here. You go here, you go here, you snowboard for a while, and there you are at the end of the line. So I guess that's an Snowpeak. Like, you can kind of read it. So that was a NS. What ends with NS? Dolns? That doesn't make sense. DOS? I don't get it. It's not really, it's almost legible, that text. Not quite. Hey, do you know about fish? I see what we need to do now. We need to go heal a fucking prince now, so he can catch us a fish, so we can get to, like, so that we can get to here specifically. This is the hard part. This part, we'll just snowboard. It'll be easy. Let's go figure out what's up with that Zora. I'm just gonna go over here so I can teleport without being boothered. I don't know why I said that funny. I just thought it would be a funny thing to say. Boothered. Rest assured, I do not say it normally that way. I just thought it'd be funny this one specific time. You know. I thought it'd be funny more like, I just felt like being weird for a second. Sometimes it's fun to say words weirdly. Hey Paul, what's up? How's it going? To become a human. Sign is weirdly vertical. Thoroughfare. Okay, we gotta see what's up with this, this Zora. It's good to see me. Glad. I'm glad you're doing well, Paul. Hey, do you still have that, that Zora child? Where is that Zora child? I need to talk to that Zora child. I need him to catch me a fish. Where is that Zora child? Did we leave him here? I thought we left him here. We didn't, like, take him to a different town or something, did we? Have you heard of a movie called After Death? I have not. Have not heard of such a film. Great, this fucking kid has a shop now. We should go in the kid's shop. Business baby. This is the original boss baby, by the way. Maldo Mart. You know, I do have, like, 500 rupees, so I might as well buy a Hylian shield that won't burn when we're in a fiery area. That seems like a good idea. What's your deal? I'm not donating to Malomart. Would you rather fight 100 ducks or one horse-sized duck? That's a classic question. Generally, I think the answer would be like one horse-sized duck. On account of, well, numbers or like large numbers of things are very versatile, are very like hard to deal with, I guess. And also, a horse-sized duck, like, just based on physics and stuff, would not, survive, actually. Well, as very, very small horses would also not survive. A horse-sized duck would overheat. And, duck-sized horses would freeze to death. Conversely, you know, our metabolisms, they're set up to, you know, be in perfect balance with our size based on, like, how much heat you lose to your, like, surroundings, basically. That's science. That's just science. Assuming we had, like, magic, and they were magic, horse-size, duck-size, whatever, still probably would take the chances with the one rather than 100. Like, 100 is too many. 10, I could see. I could see doing 10. Or, like, if it was, like, pound for pound or something. But I'm pretty sure 100 like, ducks weigh more than one horse. Like, by probably an order of magnitude. And at the end of the day, weight is like a lot in a fight. I know that just, you know, from fiction. Weight classes, you know? Where the fuck is this kid? Zora Kid, are you in here, Zora Kid? Maybe Zora Kid's in here. Let's find out what we have to do for Zora Kid, and then I do have a card. I do have cards tonight that I will, you know, talk about. Zora Kid, are you in here? Who the fuck is that Zora Kid? Where's the prince? I'm looking for a prince. Wait a minute. I think it's in my inventory, in my letters. No, okay. If you pop two 8-inch logs and attended a small chain between the two logs, how long do you think you could fool someone into thinking they were nunchucks? From 20 feet away. A while? I've never heard that one, no. I've heard the horse-sized duck-sized horses one many a times, but I've never heard nunchucks. I think, honestly, what you're describing is basically pretty close to nunchucks. If I'm being honest. If I'm being honest. Like, functionally, not that different. Midna. I need to know where I can find a little kid. Is the kid in Orden? Where the fuck? Where are they hiding this fucking kid? Would they be made out of... Wait. Logs. Oh, pooped. Pooped logs. Okay. I was picturing, logs as in from a tree. But, like, small. Okay. I misunderstood the assignments. I thought you said, I thought you meant popped. Like you popped the chain onto some logs. You meant pooped. Pooped some logs. Still, you don't want to get hit by poop logs. I don't know why a Zora would be down here. This seems like a place that a Zora child would not be. Just Google. Where the fuck is the Zora child? Done. Sick. And the word sick too. The heck is with the what? What the heck is up with the Zora child what the fuck? I'm gonna ignore that. Game facts thread. Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom. Okay, I need to be a little more specific. Where is the Zora Prince? Twilight Princess. Zora Prince? Close enough. After the Scourge Press to Kakariko, Rallis will be in the graveyard, past the hole to the back. What the fuck? I guess they healed him, and he's just hanging out in the graveyard. Okay, sure. Why not? I'm fine with the height that I am. Seems like a perfectly good height, you know. Paul is asking if you could be any height. I guess a little taller. You know, that'd be fine. If you could live to any age, what age would you choose? Infinite. Thousands. I would like to be immortal. If I could choose any age, I'll just keep living. I want to be, you know, I want to see it. The future. One way or another. Apparently he got past the enemies or whatever was also in the way. Hey, I need a fish. That's right, that's me. I need a fish. I need a stinky fish. I need a stinky, stinky fish. Can you catch me a stinky, stinky fish? I need a stinky fish. That's all I need. Okay. He has a hook that will let me catch a stinky fish. Good. What would you do during your infinite time in the heat death of the universe? I don't know. Within, like, human reasoning, I guess, you know. Hang out. Play video games. You know. Have a good time. It's basically my, would be my ambitions for living, like, you know, indefinitely. I assume I would retire, like, at some point, right? You know, before living out an infinite life. That'd be ideal. I wouldn't want to work for a million billion years. No, that'd be terrible. I don't know how the economics of living forever work. I probably won't have to worry about it. You know, it'll sort itself out. Hey, we're gonna go fishing up we're gonna fish up this fish or whatever. Let me just say I do have some cards. Let me pull one. Did you hear about Twitch lifting the restrictions for streaming to YouTube at the same time, parentheses, mostly. There's some caveats to this new policy of theirs, and I'll say, like, I have not, you know, taken them up on it yet. I honestly don't know, like, how you do that. I'm also not sure if this also means that, like, previously for Twitch affiliates, there was, like, a 24-hour rule where you could not upload a VOD from a Twitch stream until 24 hours had passed. At least for affiliates and maybe partners, and I think they at some point tried to extend it to, like, other people as well. But, I'm not sure if that's gone, but, if it is, hey, that's nice. I guess maybe I can upload the streams of, like, VODs a little sooner. That said, I wouldn't upload them before, like, I did the thumbnail and stuff for them. Nor before I did, like, you know... Nor before I did, where's my... There it is. Nor would I upload them before they were, like, processed in HD. So, you know, there would still be a delay, even if there was no legal reason to delay. But, still, it'll be nice not to worry and not have to think, like, has it been 24 hours or 23 hours since the last stream? It does make a difference, so, you know. Yeah. If you could have any sort of money per year, what would you want? All the money. Why would I not just say the maximum? You can't not say the maximum amount of money. You know. I would have as much money as I could get. And I'll say for any, like, businesses hiring, you know, and, like, reaching out to me, I would... For like, in terms of compensation, a competitive salary, you know, with the industry, with the field, with the, you know, comparable roles, which, you know, is a pretty penny. It's not infinite money, though, but if I were saying, if I could just, like, wave a magic wand, infinite. Anyway, I'll say there are, like, hang-ups with this new policy, like, Twitch says they're being weird about, like, oh, you know, you can't link to your YouTube where it's streaming as well. You can't, like, merge your chats, which I don't know how that's gonna work. You know, like, surely as the streamer, I would need to have, like, access to both Twitch and YouTube chat, if there was to be both Twitch and YouTube chat. Also, I'll say, like, for my purposes, right, as a Mario Maker streamer, there is some weird, like, details to figure out, mainly insofar as, yeah, so, like, the viewer level bot is a Twitch bot, so, like, if we start, like, also streaming those streams to YouTube, do we need to get, like, a YouTube levels bot as well, and let people submit levels over there? Would it be okay to say something like, you have to go over to Twitch to submit? Would, you know, would we want to just, like, even, like, nix the idea of YouTube chat altogether and just say, like, okay, well, all chat is on Twitch, but if you want to watch on YouTube live, you know, you can, and crap. That seems to me... Eh? How do I pull? Oh, right, I hit the button again. I hit the, like, the button I used to cast it. This is the worst fishing minigame I've ever seen. All you do is hold down a button. That's, not great. Not, you know, hey, we've seen it before, it's fine, whatever. Anyway, also I will say I'm not sure, like, how it works from a technical side, streaming to multiple things. I know that, like, OBS apparently seems to only let you stream to one thing. So I need to look into, like, you know, how you do that in the first place. And, you know, once I figure out how you do that, maybe we'll give that a try. Again, I'm really not sure, especially as far as the, like, viewer level streams go, how that's going to work out. I also know for YouTube, you have to, like, make a thumbnail before you start a stream. But I figured that I figure for, like, any YouTube live thumbnail, I'm thinking it'll just be, like, a generic screenshot of the game I'm playing or whatever. And then, like, in giant letters, just live, you know? That'll be fine. And I'll probably, like... I guess I would delete the VOD of that because you know, I do now have, like, a version of a YouTube VOD that's, like, locally recorded and, like, with the breaks and stuff cut out. So I would want that version to be on the YouTube channel and, like, as, like, an archive, even if I'm doing, like, live, like, a live stream in addition to that, you know? How deep is deep enough for when we can pull it? Fish on! There we go. That's deep enough. Is this the right place? Minna, do you know if this is the right place? If you look at it. I don't got it. I don't got the fish. Hey, Paul, if you want to Google if this is the right place, that would be pretty helpful right now. Anyway, I'll say I'm pretty excited, I guess. And assuming, like, the viewer level bot stuff can be worked out, I would love to just, like, stream all streams both through Twitch and YouTube in the relatively near future. It's also complicated by the fact I don't want to, like, switch viewer level bots, you know? I don't want to switch from this viewer level bot to a different one because this viewer level bots, I already have it all set up in, like, you know, heads up display wise. And I would lose that if I moved to anything else. I would have to, like, set that up again, and I don't even know if it will be, like, logistically possible in the same way it is here. I guess I can wave it around. Doesn't seem to help that much. Maybe it's the actual Zora's domain that I need to fish at, rather than Zora's river. Maybe. You do a warp over there real fast and try it over there. Again, their policy does come with weird things, like, there is... Like, I'm not even sure with the way that the policies are worded, if, like, I can also put up, like, you know, add YouTube notifications to the stream, which I probably should do, you know? Some sort of notification that's like, hey, you know, someone just subscribed on, YouTube, you know, similar to how when someone follows here on Twitch, there's an alert. There could also be a similar alert for YouTube. And I'll say that'll be weird because a lot of people, you know, they follow in between streams on YouTube because it's not, you know, the streams are not the main thing on YouTube, but, you know, I guess if this thing is as good as they, you know, say, maybe it will be. Or maybe it'll be worth setting that all up. The viewer level bot is the main thing that gives me a hang up, or the only thing that really like is making me have like all sorts of complicated thoughts. Like I just think it'd be so weird if it was just like, hey, you know, this is just a stream, no chat, and also no submitting levels here. You need to do them elsewhere. Like that would be so weird. That'd be so weird, but perhaps for the time being, it's like, you know, acceptable weird? I'm not sure. Certainly, hopefully, I guess, you know, maybe live streams on the YouTube would also help to, like, you know, grow the YouTube a little bit, and, like the YouTube channel to have more, you know, more love. That'd be good. I don't think there's any fish in here. I'm gonna look it up. Where do you fish? Where reek fish? Where to find reek fish? In the pool below the Zora throne room. The pool below the throne room. What does that mean exactly? Okay, that's vague. Does it mean the pool below the throne room? Well, the throne room is over there. Below that would be down there, right? Or does it mean the pool in the throne room? Let me look at a Reddit. Let's see. Where are you fishing? Are you sure you have it equipped? What? I have the fishing rod equipped. Is there also like a thing for the thing? It's on the thing. I can see it on the thing. Like you can see the fishing hook on the item itself, so that's good. Wait. You have to have the coral earring pole, and you have to put bee larvae on it. What? That doesn't sound right. Other people are just saying nothing about this bee larvae shit. Let's see... Stand on the spot opposite the mother and child rock and get your fishing rock. Throw the rod in the water. What the fuck are these people talking about? I know where to find... Okay. Don't understand. I'll pull up a video on my phone. Talk to the guy. Get the coral earring. What the fuck is this? Oh, that's the graveyard. Warp over here. Then go down the waterfall. Okay. The pool below means at the bottom of the waterfall. Okay. God damn. Be more clear, I guess. Anyway, given some thought to that, since, you know, finding out last Friday, we'll put something together maybe in the next couple of days, I guess. The only thing is that, like, I don't want to set it up only to have, like, a compromised experience for viewer levels, since it's, like, my main thing, so... No. As much as it would be simple to, like, just throw something together, I'm not sure if, you know, that's literally the correct thing to do. Is this the right spot? Hang on. Oh, I no longer have the drawing. Great. So I can't, like, ask, like, hey, where's the best place to, fish for it? Like, specifically the spot. Looks like a ledge near a waterfall. Okay. Looking around for that. Okay, I see in the walkthrough that I looked at, it's over there. Those are probably the reef fish. I can see them. There we go. These would be the reef fish. I think the walkthrough was, like, mirrored. It must have been from the Wii version. I hope everyone recognizes that the GameCube version and this version are kind of the real canonical versions of Link, you know? That other version that's, like, flipped, that's not natural. No. That's, like, alternate version. Alternate Hyrule. Alright. I sniffed the stinky fish. Now it is time to follow the stinky fish smell to where the Yeti lives. And then we'll go inside his house and, you know, get a shard of a mirror really quickly. At this rate, I am feeling like, maybe, you know, just the one dungeon tonight, question mark? You know, it took us 50 minutes to, like, find a stinky fish to follow. But, who fucking knows? I got cards that I've been, like, you know, holding on to. It is time. I did do, like, the whole, like, ice quest uninterrupted, I guess. We're gonna go up this mountain, and then we're gonna, like, snowboard down, kind of. Is this a snowboarding thing, or is it a shield surf thing? Shield surfing is cool, so, you know, if this is, like, the original shield surfing, that's actually kind of surprising in retrospect, you know? Considering that would become a whole thing in, like, a couple of games, you know? A whole fun side thing, or whatever. Ahead of its time a little bit. Just a little bit, though. How's about pull another card? Just, you know, walking towards an area anyway. You see the AGDQ 2024 schedule. Had a look at this morning. Had a look at it this morning. Saw some pretty good stuff on it. Seems like a pretty solid marathon. Just like pulling it up right now. AGDQ. GDQ event info. There's the games list. I thought I saw a schedule as well. Let me see. It's just not on the thing just yet. Okay, Awesome Games Done Quick 2024 schedule. It's all like January 14th, so that's pretty good. Tunic is the opener. Loved Tunic. I think that'll be a lovely thing. Not sure if Tunic has had a GDQ appearance yet, but if it hasn't, you know, I'm thinking that might be a damn good one. Donkey Kong 64. Yeah, that'll be great. F-Zero, that'll be interesting after F-Zero 100. Let's see now. What else is here that jumps out at me? Infamous Festival of Blood. I remember that one being pretty good. Metroid Prime 2, Sonic Adventure 2, Pikmin 4. Ooh, Pikmin 4. Love to see that. Pikmin 4 is just an amazing game, so to have like a full run of that so soon will be lovely. I guess not so soon. It'll be a whole 7 months, like, from launch to GDQ appearance, but that's pretty good as far as like new games go. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, fantastic. I love that. Metroid Dread, Ocarina of Time, Taskbot, Super Metroid. That sounds pretty good. Sneak King, sure, that'll be awful block. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror 3-player co-op. That'll be fun. Sunshine, hell yeah. Last of Us Remastered, sure, whatever. Undertale, Super Mario 64, Majora's Mask. Some fucking good shit here. Lost Judgment, that'll probably be cool, I don't know. Oh, it's the Kaito files, it's not like the full thing. I always find that weird when they're like, oh, well, there's two... This game would be too long to run normally, but we have this DLC that's like only like 20 minutes long, so we can do a 15-minute speed run of it, and it's just, I don't know, that always feels weak to me. The idea that you would just... That's enough. The idea that you would do like a speed run of just like that small of a subset of your game, and just be happy with that. It's like if you had a category for like Persona where it's like, oh, we're doing Persona in 2 hours. It's just one dungeon. It's just the New Game Plus dungeon. It's like, oh, well, I guess, sure, like, it's just the dungeon that appears, the very last one that's exclusive to Royale, which would be like, okay, well, I guess that makes sense as a thing to do, but I'd rather see something else. Second round submission block 10? I don't know what that is. Second round submission block 9? Some of these games are mysteries, I guess, so far in this event, this marathon. Oh, and Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom will be there. That's like one of the last games of the marathon. They should have made that the last game, but maybe they wanted it during prime time on like the last Saturday of the stream. That sounds like a fantastic thing. Fantastic marathon. A lot of games jump out at me. And can't wait to see it. I guess I will say, like, if I'm still between things at that point, early, mid-January, which, hey. Ideally, I should have something, at least, ideally, I should have something locked down by then, but if I don't, probably will, like, not donate as much as I would normally. Just because, gotta pinch pennies and shit for the time being. I will say also of Extra Life, I am going to, like, limit how much I donate to that myself, but, hopefully the merit will still make, like, a good amount through the marathon, regardless. I just can't be putting up too much of it myself, I say too much, I just, maybe like 20 bucks. I could probably do 20 bucks. That'd be fine. 75, like what I usually do for you know, GDQs. I probably a little rich for this current moment, but you know, should something come together, of course, I will just you know, donate normally, especially if I know if you know, I'll have something coming. And that's both for Extra Life and for GDQ. Let's keep on the whole sniffing deal. Got distracted by that schedule there. But gotta carry on. Over this way. Okay, here we go. I guess if you came up here and you didn't know... Well, I bet it would just, like, fail you out. It would just, like, snowstorm you back or something. But maybe also you wouldn't find the pit to dig in. Unless you knew it was there, which maybe it wouldn't be there. If not for the fish to follow. Do you need a fish to follow? That would be the existential question here. Another card here. Let's talk about, hey, I finished Super Mario Brothers Wonder over the weekend. Not only did I finish it, I 100%ed it. Finished it 100%. Got everything. Got every Wonder Seed. Got every 10 coin. Got every flagpole. Got every, got everything. And I'll say... Where's my shield? I need to equip my shield. I'll say, Wonder was phenomenal. It was great. Like, so many levels had little surprises. So many levels had, like, surprising design, surprising elements. You know, super cool business to them. I would definitely describe it as, like, an evolution of, say, you know... I would describe it as an evolution of, say, I think of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze and Returns, where so many levels end in, like, climatic escalations, where, you know, the level just starts going some really extreme places. And, you know, you're like, oh, I'm rolling down a hill in a ball, and what the fuck? And I'm still in my minecart, I'm still playing the game, but some cinematic set-piece stuff is unfolding before me. And, like, every level of like, Mario Wonder is like that, except it doesn't have to, like, restrain itself, like, at all. It can just be weird. I'm gonna go get that move real fast before we talk to this Yeti. You know, it just had so much good stuff. I'll say there are a few elements that I do find disappointing, one of which is that there's not, like, a time trials thing, as far as I can tell. You can race other players online, but you can't, you know, there's no, like, for each level, like, gold time to find. You know, if there was a gold time for each level, I think I would still be chewing on that right now. You know, I also wouldn't mind if there had been, like, a hard mode that, like, amped up the difficulty a little bit, you know? Made it so, I don't know, you can take a hit or something. You know, Tropical Freeze had that. Tropical Freeze had both of those things. And that's, and also the, like, way boss fights were handled more substantially in Tropical Freeze. I do think that, like, they are like neck and neck, those two, in terms of quality. And also, I still do think, like, my favorite game of all time, tied for, is still going to be Donkey Kong Country 2. Even though there's a lot about Wonder that is, like, really tickling me the right way. And it is, like, a top-tier game for this year, but I do think it's not one of my favorite games of all time. It's just, like, a big favorite, not like an all-time, top 10 all-time favorite, you know? It's nice. That's cool. You got the mortal draw. That's nice. 2 more. Okay, cool. I bet we'll find, like, those things near the other temples that exist out there. Maybe. I don't know. The other temples are actually in areas we've been, so I'm not sure, like, where those other 2 wolf things are, but go figure. Anyway, Wonder, I'll say, like, I do think there are nits to be picked. Like, the biggest nit is definitely the bosses. They are pretty mediocre, pretty, like, run-of-the-mill, pretty normal for Mario games, to the point where, like, most of them, I don't know if it's a spoiler to say, but the bosses, they're mostly just Bowser Jr. And, like, the specific Bowser Jr. fight, variations upon that fight, it's fine, but, like, it's a fine, simple formula for a fight, I guess. The Bowser Jr. fight formula, which is, like, you jump on him, he spins around, and, you know, there's some, like, weird permutations in each of the arenas. That's fine, I guess, but look. Mario games have been doing that same formula for, like, the past 40 years, so, you know, to say it's stale is beyond that. It's like if every boss fight in Tropical Freeze was based upon Very Naughty, you know? It's actually worse than that, because, look, the Boom Boom fight, basics of the Boom Boom fight slash Koopaling fight, those are older than I am. And I've seen them so many times in Mario Maker. I feel like, just come up with a new type of boss fight. And in fact, don't repeat that. Just make entirely new bosses. I don't know. Those boss fights are pretty, mediocre, but, like, they're not a huge part of the game. And like I said, it is a lovely game. I appreciate what it does in, like, you know, mixing things up, doing, like, a good amount of, like, small levels and large levels, and the pacing is just extraordinarily good in that respect. It's lovely. It's a lovely game. It's super good. Definitely one of the top 3 of this year, I'll say that much. I think I think Tears of the Kingdom definitely has a beat, and I think Pikmin 4 also has a beat. I think Pikmin 4 is the runner-up currently to me. Sorry, Wonder, but Pikmin 4 is just more of a smorgasbord to me, I guess. And also, it was, like, a little more substantial, I guess. It took me longer to get through Pikmin than it did to get me through Wonder. But, you know, hey, how long can a 2D platformer be? Like, I can replay Donkey Kong Country 2 in, like, a couple of hours. You know, it wouldn't even last an afternoon. Tropical Freeze also probably wouldn't last an afternoon in my hands. You know, certain hard levels aside, perhaps. But, whatever. The Yeti is pretty chill. He found the mirror. It's the same mirror. He's got it. It's a snowboard tree. I guess we're not shield surfing. We're just, ice snowboard surfing. Fortunately, we have a snowboard tree here to ride upon. And hey, for once we can jump in a Zelda game by holding down A. Look at that, jump. Very funny. I'll say also the power-ups, I thought they were all really good. The bubble is super fun. The fire flower, you know, standard. The drill is I think not as useful as like a traditional spike helmet in Mario Maker, but is the closest a regular ass game has ever come to putting in a spike helmet into its game, which I think is great. I do think that levels could be designed a little better in terms of ways to make advantage. It definitely feels like in a lot of Mario Maker levels that feature the spike helmet, and like mine in particular, they're like designed to help you take advantage of the spike helmets. Whereas like the drill is more about drilling than it is about the benefit of being able to kill enemies from below, but still it's fun whenever you do like find an opportunity to do that. And it is interesting to me to see like, oh, this is what it would be like if you could, you know, use a spike helmet in every level. Except it doesn't break through blocks in the same way. God damn it. It doesn't break through blocks, you know, that are in the same way that like the spike helmet does. It doesn't kill boos. And, you know, there are more enemies that are like immune to it. But it's definitely on the right path, and I hope that other platformers like keep in mind that like, hey, like a spike helmet power up, pretty cool, and you can even pair it with other abilities, and ends up being pretty neat. A lot of good secrets based around that drill. I feel like I want to do like a spin, like it's SSX. But that's not a thing in this. There's no, like, winding up a spin and getting tricky with it. I'll say I also have been playing another recent release. That is Spider-Man 2, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I will say I wasn't the biggest fan of Spider-Man 1. I found, like, in general, a lot of the missions were kind of on the dull side, unfortunately, especially with the Mary Jane stealth mission thing that it did, like, too many times. And I am disappointed to find out, like, hey, Mary Jane missions are back. Which, honestly, is a thing that just surprises the hell out of me. I would have thought that, like, after the first game, and anyone with a correct head on their shoulders, with a good head on their shoulders, would have figured out, like, hey, Mary Jane shit, terrible, hate those missions, but apparently they didn't get the message. They're back, which is a damn shame. There's also a lot of other missions that feel really slow and really long. Even if I am interested in the story stuff that's going on, I am a little put off by that. And I'll say, like, the side stuff, you know, I was hearing some people saying, like, yeah, the story's kind of boring and slow and full of stealth stuff, but there's side stuff that's good. I feel like everything I've unlocked side stuff-wise has just been like, okay, Do I want to play like a mediocre rhythm game? No, I do not. No, no, no. Do I want to like fight like a bunch of sandmen? No, I do not. Do I want to do like a mediocre puzzle game? Nah, not really. No, I don't think so. And a lot of what the game is offering me as terms of side stuff is like that. Hey, we made it to the Yetis house. Hey, we're at the Yetis house. This is the next dungeon, you see. Here's the next dungeon. We're going to do it, you know. And, you know, see what happens. This goes by quick. We might go and do Temple of Time, which fucking rules. Temple of Time is goddamn good. We'll see, though. Anyway, finish my thought about Spider-Man 2. One other thing that I am finding to be pretty disappointing. One thing I really didn't like about Miles Morales is that it reworked like the combat system. And I said at the time, like, okay, you know what? There's no impact web on Miles. I guess he's a different character. So of course he has like a different loadout and a different set of moves. But unfortunately, in this game, you know, Peter Parker himself has been reworked to be more like Miles, and as such doesn't have the impact web, which was one of the most powerful moves in the previous game, and like one of the best bets for like webbing up enemies really quickly, which I think is a damn shame to lose. You know, basically the way that Spider-Man the combat works out is that the enemies are very bullet spongy. You know, they take a lot of punches, but they are set up in such a way where if you like web them up using like 3 small webs or 1 impact web, you can like stick them to a wall or otherwise dispatch them in 1 move if they're close enough to a wall. If you can like slam them into a wall or the floor or a ceiling or whatever the fuck. But in this one, since you're dependent on your regular ass webs and you don't have impact webs, it's a lot harder to do that shit and really like make use of that system, which I find to be a damn shame. She has sickness. Husband told me you want to look at mirror. Pretty thing. Since I get mirror, I get sick. Then bad monsters appear. Doesn't sound good. We lock it on 3rd floor. Let me tell you where it is. That's the structure of this dungeon. Probably where the symbol is. It's not gonna be there. But, look. We're gonna have to find a couple of waypoints. You know. Oh, I was sick. This is great, actually. We can just go ahead and fill our bottle with this. Oh, I actually have a fairy in there already. I'm gonna keep the fairy for now since it's automatic, but maybe I'll replace it with soup. Also, let me get this little guy. This troublesome little guy. Gracious. Little girl, I mean. Little lady. Huh. Combat in this one, you know, you have a lot fewer opportunities to make use of, like, sticking enemies to walls. You know, taking enemies out of the fight that way, since you can't use the impact web anymore, which, again, was just the best, you know? Just, like, literally one-shotted fools left and right as you, like, whipped it out. Was just perfect for, like, one-shotting enemies like it was nobody's business. Which I'm sad to say, like, isn't a thing anymore. Now that that's not in the game, so... You more have to do... You get, like, a variety of other super moves, but frankly, they're just not as good as the ones in the first game, Like, you can activate them by, like, holding down a combination of buttons and be like, ooh, I'm gonna do, like, a big spinny move. And I'm gonna do, like, an AoE attack that hits everybody. But I'll tell you what it doesn't do. It doesn't kill. It does not kill anything in one hit. Unlike Impact Web, which was perfect for killing enemies in one hit. I say killing, dispatching, what have you. It doesn't compare to, like, the spinny webby thingy. That was, like, the big super move that everyone used in the first game because it was overpowered. That's just gone. And as far as I can see, there's not, like... If there's ways to upgrade these moves so that they, like, web up enemies in addition to, like, pulling them up into the air or doing some damage. I haven't seen that upgrade yet, but, I'll keep an eye out for it, I guess. Oh, this will be a dog situation. Big as a dog. I think it's really weird. The idea that, like, Spider-Man should be like a stealth game in a lot of places. I just don't think the stealth is very fun. Especially when it's like, oh, I'm playing as Mary Jane. Or I'm playing as a little spider robot. Like, shut up. Just make it so I'm playing as Spider-Man and I'm mostly just beating up henchmen and, it doesn't have to be Arkham Asylum. Like, that's played out anyway. They can't make more Arkham Asylum games anymore. They tried. They just don't appeal anymore ever since City. City was great, I will say. But, like, ever since then, it's been like, here's Arkham Knight. Oh, no, thank you. Here's Arkham, Night to Remember, where, like, a bunch of villains break out, and it's like, I don't know, set in a specific time period? I forget what that one's called, but it's like the third or fourth one. Need more. Anyway, at this point, I'll say, like, the story is interesting me. And I did get the, like, Venom suit situation, and that seems like it's, like, more powerful than, that seems like it's, at the very least, giving me some powers that are, like, fun to use and good to, like, bust out, but I'll say, like, they're just not as broken as Impact Web. Which I think is a damn shame. I think it's fun to have broken things. And, keeping broken things away from me only makes the game less fun to me. I'd rather feel powerful than, like, have a bunch of fiddly little bullshit things to manage to do the combat. Alright. Open door. Ugh, a little tired. Been going to sleep earlier. I will say, I do intend to keep on playing Spider-Man. I have time right now, so I've been like... Maybe that's the funny thing about me, like, still, like, being like, no thanks when it comes to side content. But just that, like, yeah, I have more time than most adults, right now. I could literally go in on all that side stuff, but, yeah, I just can't, You show me like, you know, you show me like 100 something odd levels in Mario Wonder, and you know all the 10 coins and flagpoles and whatever the fuck, and Wonder Seeds that you have to do in each one. I will just get all the stuff out of that. Pikmin 2 as well. But like this game where it's like, hey, do you want to do like this little mini game 12 times? I just gotta say, hell no. I don't want to do the same mini game 12 times. Honestly, I didn't like it the first time. So, yeah. No. Definitely not. I got a pumpkin. Wasn't where she said it was. Why, Let's go talk to her. I'll do another card. Alan Wake 2 is on Friday. I'm looking forward to it. I will say, with Wonder behind me, you know, let me be clear, I'm probably gonna play more Wonder idly and for fun. Replay those levels, you know, whatever. Maybe do some multiplayer at some point. That'd be nice. Do some races, that sort of thing. We'll see what happens there, but now that Wonder is like not like an ongoing concern anymore, I have given thought to like Alan Wake 2, and probably that I will end up getting it, actually. I wasn't sure, you know, considering that those two, Spider-Man, etc. Yes, take my pumpkin. That's right. Perfect. Right, the more items you put in that, it gets, like, more potent. You know, the soup will get better and better as we go through this dungeon. Pretty neat little cute thing. Did you leave it? I think the Yeti wife has a cute face. And the Yeti design is also pretty good. The Yetis have some of the best character designs in this game, I'll say. Alan Wake 2 should be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that. Hi. Fuck it. That sounds like a good idea. That sounds like a good... It'll be like, up my alley. I'll say there are other games I'm not going to buy. Like, I have heard that, the new Assassin's Creed is pretty forgettable, pretty bland, whatever. Though I guess I'm happy they're going to shorter lengths now. If it's not good in the 12-hour time frame, you know... If it's not good, that doesn't make a difference, right? Like, even if it's 12 hours instead of 100, a boring game is still boring, you know? How about bomb arrows? Oh, these guys are immune to arrows at all, including ones with bombs on them. Definitely gonna pick that up. That sounds like a good idea. I really liked Control a whole lot. I'll say, like, I'm not like the... I do think Control had issues, but it was really damn cool and really damn, like... It's a really damn good game. Like, probably a 5-star, but not like an all-time favorite type deal. And, you know, with that as their last game, I'll absolutely give Alan Wake 2 a go. I do think that Alan Wake 1 was pretty good. You know, maybe a solid 4 out of 5 game. No, not like the best thing, but like certainly very cool and, you know, narratively interesting. Beautiful. And what we need is these cannonballs. We're gonna load them into cannons, and then it'll be a whole thing. Do. Pretty simple, though, on the whole. I'm gonna try to avoid these guys. Insert this, and then we do, insert a bomb, and then just goes... Nice. There are other games that are coming out pretty soon as well. Like, I'm not sure if I already, like, did a voucher on WarioWare, but I'll probably pick that up. WarioWare is always good, and I'm sure there'll be another Nintendo game to vouch in the near future. There always tends to be, you know. I will say also the, like, Pokemon DLC is, coming up. I'm not, you know, I'll say, like, I didn't really do the end game content in Pokemon. I just went through the main story and really, really enjoyed it, but, you know, never found the time to go back and, you know, do all the gyms a second time, let's say. Which I'm sure to some Pokemon people would be like, oh man, you barely started the game then, but, like, nah, I'm good. I did, like, all the really great stuff, you know, all the stuff that is, like, all the main adventure stuff, you know? I'm happy with that. I'm happy with how much I did. I don't really feel like I need to do all that much more on the whole. Persona 5 or Tactica is also coming out. That's on Game Pass, so, you know, I won't have to really spring for it, which is nice. Which is nice to, you know, have in the back of my mind that it'll be, you know, kind of a freebie, kind of not. No. We'll say I'm sticking with having Game Pass. No. I do think it provides enough value on a month-to-month basis, and there are games I'm going to get for free because of it. Coming up that, no. I don't really see myself, canceling it anytime soon. Just gonna stay the course on that. Game Pass is not gonna break the bank, you know. Rent and, like, groceries, that's, like, my main concern. And I can afford some Game Pass, a couple games, you know. Hell, you know, if I'll say, like, I can afford a lot, you know. The question is, how long can I afford them? More than anything. You know, a year, maybe. Yeah, I guess. Again, rent is the big killer. I definitely don't want to, like, commit to this place any more of it. I'll say I'm really not in love with this place. But I will stick around until such time as I can, you know, move somewhere different. And for that, I would need, you know, active salary and stuff. I'm pretty sure. But I have enough to just, like, wait that out and just, you know, hang around. Stay the course, you know? Was this where we were going? Thought we were going for a cannonball. I guess this room is just for that big chest. There's no other doors here. So let's turn around. Can we get this cam ball out of this room now? Is that a thing we can do? Well, if there is a way, it's not over here. Let's see now. I didn't get a key. What did I get? Let me go get some soup or something. Make sure I haven't done a thing. Okay, so we need to get to that main room, and to do that we have to do a thing. Cool. Let me get a little bit of that soup. Good soup. 4 hearts. Not great, but I've seen worse, I guess. I mean, imagine if it didn't have the pumpkin in it. It'll get really good by the end of the dungeon, let me say. We have the compass here? Yeah, we do, so we know where the chests are. Just have to get access to them. One of them is behind that wall. Another is like here. Oh, we got dig. That'll be it. I did cut a few Patreons. You know, again, a little bit of like saving here and there. And also it's good sometimes to be like, hey, you know, gotta pick which ones you're gonna give wholly to. You know, if situations change, cut down a bit. You know. That said, I would rather just, like, stay the course as much as possible during this time. I believe that it'll be fine. I believe that I will come out of this, like, you know, with, most of my, you know, savings intact and, like, well enough to be like, hey, you know, I wouldn't mind, like, spending a good amount of it on a vacation before the next gig started, right? Like, I do believe I will have enough to, like, jet over to, like, Japan or something if I wanted to do, like, a trip. But I would only do that once I was sure of that, right? And sure that, like, oh yeah, there's more coming. You know, it'll be fine. You gotta be a little prudent. But not that prudent, I'll say. Card. Watched a new show this week. The last of the new shows. The last of the new simulcast shows. That would be the first 3 episodes of the Apothecary Diaries. That is a show where it's an anime. It's on Crunchyroll. Wherein the basic premise is that it's set during, like, the 3 Kingdoms era. you know, and your main character is like she's basically like a poison nerd. She's really into poisons and like you know, medicines and such. She's an alchemist, but or like a, you know, like a, she's like the closest thing to like a medical expert, and she ends up in being like a servant in like the imperial palaces, you know, specifically the ones that only have like ladies and eunuchs in them, and it's pretty fun and good. It's cute. In moments, the character is really likable, especially as it gets into more of like the ancient Chinese medicine angle the show has, which is just really cool, really neat. A great premise, a great setting, and the main character is just lovely. She's like inquisitive. She is like just a totally obsessed with like poisons and stuff. There's like a minor part of her backstory where like, you know, she has like bandages along her hand, right? Along her arm, and some of the other characters are like, oh no, she has like a tragic past. And she's like, no, I basically have been like testing poisons on my arms for fun, you know, just to see like how my arm reacts, how my skin reacts to like venoms being applied to it. So, you know, that's fun to me, is basically the idea of that, and I find that to be quite fun. I'm gonna need the grapple hook, aren't I? I see grapples on the thing. It's time for a mini boss. This one's pretty good. Well, there's a pretty good thing that'll come of this, let me say. This dungeon has one of the better items, one of the best dungeon items in a Zelda game. I guess like all three of these dungeons in this immediate area have that, come to think of it. Okay, I just need to get behind him and like attack him. Come on, dude. Fucking throw it already. How about if I grapple? Will that cause you to move? There we go. Got a few hits on him. I'm not doing so hot. There we go. Also, I shouldn't have drank my potion before the battle started. That was a mistake. Anyway, the Apothecary Diaries seems pretty damn good. Definitely, like, comes out of the gate swinging and really impresses with, like, its fun characters, great setting, and just excellent, you know, like, medicinal angle, right? Also, you might learn a thing or two about, like, ancient Chinese medicine and stuff. Like how, you know, fun fact, they used to put, like, face powder on their faces that was, like, super toxic. And, like, yeah, I had known about that before the show, and, it was nice to see that come up. And be, like, a whole thing. Very well done. Hey, check this out. It's the ball and chain. This thing is fucking good. You swing it, and it's just like a big ball that destroys stuff that a bomb would, basically. It's just like, you know, infinite. You could throw it, so you don't have to wait on, like, a bomb going off. And it's just, like, really powerful. Such a simple thing, and yet super, super satisfying. Orden goat cheese. Now let's go get the actual location of this next business. We got the dungeon item, so we must be around midway through. I will also say, I did drop 2 more anime. The Kingdom of Ruin, which was kind of a weird, mediocre show that I just didn't know where it was going, and also I thought about it and I decided, like, fuck it. Let's just go ahead and give it the boot. And also Ragna Crimson, which has just been very weird since it started and has just gone in so many weird directions. It started off as kind of like a action fantasy thing where people were fighting dragons with magic swords, and the last 2 episodes didn't even involve like the main characters, but instead involved like a side character who got introduced an episode ago. And also they were driving around cars and shooting guns all of a sudden, which, man, I don't understand. And I just decided, okay, you know what? Fuck it, it's out. Let's just be straight about this and just go ahead and get rid of it. There were a few other shows that I was considering dropping, but I decided to go ahead and keep them around. 3rd floor. It's supposed to be locked up on the 3rd floor, I thought. We talked to the husband. He's gonna want this cheese. And by the way, if you're wondering where it is, it's gonna be here on the 3rd floor. The one room on the 3rd floor. It's gonna be right there. Yeah, here's the cheese. That sounds really good. I've been trying to have like 3 meals a day recently. You know, a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner. But I'm sometimes finding that's not quite enough. I don't know. Finding myself hungry during a stream, though I did have like some lunch. I have some hot dogs before. I had some dinner. I had some hot dogs for lunch. And I had like some cheesy rice for breakfast. Not really a great breakfast, but you know, I just really didn't feel like making eggs this morning. And I do have like a lot of like Stouffer's type foods like stocked up. Honestly, I really should be working my way through them rather than like, you know, making spaghetti or going out for food. I had Whataburger, or I had Five Guys the other day. Haven't had Five Guys in a while. Too expensive, but damn good burger. Want to have some ramen soon. I haven't had ramen in so long either. Thinking about food because of the food guy. Where? It's definitely not that room. It's gonna be the room on the 3rd floor, but okay. I'll humor you here. Let's go look. Final thing about anime, I just want to say, you know, given that I have now watched, I have now gone through like every day and dropped all the anime that I wanted to drop, and locked in all the anime I wanted to lock in. I now have a complete lineup, and I thought I would just go over the list real fast. This will just take a second, but I'm just gonna pull up my anime list on my phone. I'm not gonna do like a whole overlay situation. I do anime chart. That's gonna be simpler. Let me see. Is this synced up? Yeah, I believe so. I'm just gonna set it to 1 second. Okay. Alright, so for Sunday, starting on Sunday, I am watching Shangri-La Frontier, Overtake, The 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You, Berserker Gluttony, and Dark Gathering. Did consider cutting Shangri-La and Overtake, but they're good shows and well made. It's just that they're not quite doing it, and not for me as much as some of the other shows, but they're not bad, and they're actually kind of fun. And Shangri-La is pretty fun. Overtake is just a mess, but it's like a good mess. Well, not really a mess. It's well made, but it's not like really that exciting, I guess, for me. Whatever. Gonna stick with it. For Monday, I got Stardust Telepath, Deadmount Deathplay Part 2, I'm in Love with the Villainess, a playthrough of a certain dude's VR MMO adventure, and the Demon Sword Master of Excalibur Academy. Pretty good day Monday. I think all those shows are pretty good to great. Tuesday, just have Helk. Just Helk on Tuesday. That's sort of the slow day of the week. After School Hana Cocoon is also on Thursdays, or also on Tuesdays, but there's only 4 episodes of that, so it'll be over pretty quickly. And the next episode is episode 3, so it'll only be around for another week, basically. I cut Bullbusters, so let me just make sure it's clear I'm not watching that. I am just watching on Wednesdays. I am giving the Disgraced Noble lessons in naughtiness, I believe is the title. The Eminence in Shadow Season 2, Musume Season 3, and 16-Bit Sensation Another Layer. On Thursday, I am watching Dr. Stone Part 2, My Daughter Left the Nest and Returned, a S-tier adventure, The Yuzuki Family's 4 Sons, and Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. I will say, Pluto is apparently also on Thursday, and that starts airing this Thursday. I'll see maybe next time we'll know like if I am going to watch that as well. I'll give it a go. People seem pretty hyped for it. I don't know. I don't usually look ahead and see like what's up. I just know it's starting like Thursday. Maybe we'll watch that one. That would make an even 30 shows. Friday, I have Our Dating Story, The Experienced You and the Inexperienced Me. I have Wherein, Beyond Journey's End. Wherein is one of the top shows of the season, along with 100 Girlfriends. And Undead Unlock, and Girlfriend Season 2. Multiple polyamory shows. Multiple polyamorous harem shows this season, which, the 2 of them, they're some of the best shows this season, I'll say. Finally, for Saturday, I have The Vexations of the Shut-In Vampire Princess, Spy X Family Season 2, Tear Moon Empire, which I will say, Tear Moon Empire is low-key fantastic. Every episode of Tear Moon has really impressed me. It's been exactly the show I asked for when I saw a different show, where I said, like, oh, this would be more interesting as an isekai if, like, being reincarnated as the villainess. It'd be more interesting if the character who was reincarnated was actually the villainess. Come back in time to, like, correct her ways, and that's exactly what Tear Moon Empire is. A show about a princess who gets French Revolution, who goes back in time and, has to figure out how to make it so that they don't cut off her head, which is fucking great. Also, it's cute and fun, as far as, like, everyone is concerned except for her, who knows, like, yeah, I'm just a little girl running around being precocious, but I know that the guillotine awaits me, so I know that it's actually serious, but, if you forget about that, it's actually really fun and good. The Apothecary Diaries and I Shall Survive Using Potions. I will say, I will survive using potions. It's kind of the messiest show remaining of the shows that I didn't cut, but I see it's fun, whatever. I'm going to stick with it. I think that show is pretty decent. I'll also say, just to call out one more specifically, Stardust Telepath is the closest thing to a slice of life all year. Like a pure and good slice of life. It's just about girls who want to, like, make model rockets, and one of them is an alien. But it's not important. It's just cute and fun and wholesome. And also maybe a little gay. Could also be Yuri. I would be happy if it was Yuri. Honestly, that'd be a good thing to me. I would like it if it was a Yuri situation and there's like, you know, they're like in love. They touch foreheads and do like telepathy through like forehead touching. And that is very, very Yuri to me. That is very like, you know, girls love, that sort of thing. Which I think is great. I think that's good. I think like the more of that, the better. But also, it is also kind of just a slice of life, you know, outside of that. So, you know, might not be, but also is pretty much that. It's not like there aren't slice of life shows that aren't also a little gay. Like, I think of Asteroid in Love, which is literally called Asteroid in Love. But is, you know, a slice of life about girls who, you know, are in a science, astrology, geology club, you know? And also, there is a romantic tension to it. Same thing. Same thing, kinda, you know? Same sort of deal. It's some good shit. Also, hey, this wrecking ball just wrecks those guys, like, without even a fight. It's beautiful. I love this wrecking ball. It's a top-tier item. Also, look at this shit. Sets that chandelier in motion. Cool puzzle. Got a small key. Anyway, I'll say this season of anime is looking pretty damn good, and I'll say between Wherein and 100 Girlfriends, there's some damn good shit this season. Girlfriend is also pretty fucking good, the second season of it. Though, I will admit, watching Girlfriend after watching 100 Girlfriends, it's like, yo, you know, Rentaro, the protagonist of 100 Girlfriends, already kissed his girlfriends. You're, you know, a season in and you haven't? Yeah, he's also going to get more than you in, like, more girlfriends than you have, like, already. I'll also say, by the way, of 100 Girlfriends, the third episode of that hit, and it was actually surprising. Insofar as, like, the show has some range, it turns out. It was a very emotional, very beautiful episode of this, like, ridiculous gag anime where, you know, one man is going to... ridiculous harem satire parody where, like, one man is going to end up with 100 ladies, you know, over the course of the whole show. We're like, goddamn, yeah. He is very much the perfect match for each of those 100 girlfriends. And also, like, you know, he even says it during the episode. It's like, oh, it's not because it's destiny or whatever. You know, that is part of it. You know, that I do know that I'm destined to be with her, but also, goddamn, I just want to, you know, I gotta do this thing, you know? I gotta be there for her. I feel it, you know? And it's not because God told me to, it turns out. It's because I'm a good human being who wants to be there for another character. And that's... it's just so fucking cool. To be like, oh shit, you know, I'm sure some of these romances are gonna be more funny than heartfelt, you know, more gag-based, and more just like, oh, I instantly fall in love and I know I want to join the harem. Yeah, let's do it. I want to join in on this polyamorous thing you got going. Like, I'm sure in some cases it's gonna be that, but in other cases we're gonna see some fucking emotional roller coasters that also have to deal with the fact that he already has multiple girlfriends. You know, like, how exactly is it gonna work for number 4 or number 5? You know, I still don't know. And I'm still, like, really excited to find out, like, yeah, let's go. Bring on number 4, bring on number 5, bring on number 6, bring on number 7. There's only 5 in the OP, so, you know, I understand that it's probably going to be, like, 12 episodes until, you know, until the next set of them, but, I also know that, I've heard that 100 Girlfriends is going on for, 24 episodes, so it's a 2-core. So, fucking we have, time, you know? We have all the time in the world to really, like, set things up and make things good and, do a whole bunch of shit with Rentaro and his many girlfriends, you know? We have time. And people are saying that, like, oh, people who are, like, manga readers, right? They're saying things like, oh, I think I see where this is going. I see how far this is gonna get, and, it's gonna get to a pretty good spot. I'll say I'm excited for that. I am very excited to see, like, what exactly this spot that it's going to reach is. I think that's gonna be, it's gonna be lovely. 100 Girlfriends, definitely like my favorites of the pack. But also I'll say, like, Free Ren is also incredible. Free Ren is basically about an immortal elf who is, like, grappling with the fact that, like, oh, you know, 80 years ago I went on this adventure, and the humans I went with are all, like, gone now, and what exactly does that mean for me, you know? She's grappling with questions about mortality and, like, what time means to her, how she sees time versus, like, others. And it's just really, at times, mellow, contemplative, and, really cool to see the world through the eyes of someone who is, like, an ageless being, who is just able to say of a, you know, an event that happens every 50 years, like, yeah, okay, let's, I'll see you at the next one, okay? See you in 50 years, okay? You stay frosty. Also, she's a bit of a goof. She's a bit of a character, you know. In addition to that, I love her. She's great. I'll say though, like, Free Red is, like, in the running to be like the runner-up of the year, you know, to me. I feel like she's no Oshinoko. I do feel like 100 Girlfriends kind of gives Oshinoko a run for its money, you know? And it is, like, kind of similar to other shows that I have called my anime of the year in the past, right? Like, in specific, I think of, in particular, I think of, what's the deal here? I think of Komi Can't Communicate, which is a show about a girl who wants to make 100 friends who are all, like, incredible characters, you know? And, you know, just having the hook of, like, oh, there's gonna be 100 characters in this show, and also they're all going to be fantastic, huge, bigger-than-life characters, you know, get ready. Get ready for a constant flow of some of the best original characters you've ever seen. Like, you know, so many of them, all just continuously. And 100 Girlfriends seems like it's, gonna hit upon that in a really nice way. Deal. Why open this path? Just to have a shortcut, I guess? Okay. Probably just to have a shortcut. What did this switch open? Switch must have opened something. Maybe on like one of the higher floors? I didn't catch what the switch opened. I guess that's my fault for, you know, spending that time talking at length about the 100 girlfriends who really, 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 really love you. Top tier show. Love how it has range. It's not just all goofy fun. Some of it is like really, really emotional and like it has the chops for romance, for drama, in addition to some of the best, like, the dumbest, like, shit you've ever seen, you know? It is the ultimate harem anime. It is funny. It is heartfelt. Whole nine. And I'll say again, it has like the best like you know, tsundere character I've ever seen. Also, maybe one of the best shy characters I've ever seen. Certainly one of the most shy characters I've ever seen. Like, in addition to being heartfelt, this episode also, like, introduced a character who is bigger than life in a way that is, like, ridiculous. And, that to me was funny, in addition to the romance angle being, like, really potent and heavy hitting, you know? I'll say I think 100 Girlfriends might be better than Komi Can't Communicate, which is to say, like, yeah, it's in that ballpark of anime of the year. Definitely in that, that arena. Oh, I got a small key from that. Okay. A little confused. Because I ended up somewhere where I've been before, but, I guess I went around that loop. I got a small key. The small key is going to help me open a regular-sized door, which is... I don't know. Let's go back this way. Oh, it's probably to the right, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. I'll say I only have a handful of cards left. So, you know, no hurries or anything. Like I said earlier, I feel like I have a little less to talk about per stream recently than I have before because, you know, don't have any big extensive plans coming up. Big games are more and more behind us than in front of us. Not like a ton to talk about, really. But I do like to make sure that I do have something to I do have something for y'all. Something to like you know, cover a slow moment in a game. That's kind of what all this is. What all these cards are for, by the way, if you're ever wondering. It's to cover when I'm just going through a dungeon and I don't have anything in particular to talk about. And there's nothing like from chat that's really jumping out. I mean, I'll say I also sometimes, you know, sometimes I pull a card and I talk over stuff that's like a little more interesting than nothing at all, but I don't know. I feel like I can pull down this wall now that I have the thing. With this, can we get the... Oh wow, that kicks their asses. Oh, but we've already been over there. There's nothing here in particular that's like new. Unless there's a way to get this cam ball into the house over here. Maybe through one of these windows. Is that what we need to do here? Not certain. Didn't work. This window might be like specifically set up so you can't do this. Yeah, I bet it is. I bet it's specifically set up so that's not feasible. Go back inside. Okay, where do we go? What do we do? What's the deal here? Let's just think about this for a bit, rather than talk to, you know, something else. Again, I do have a handful more cards, like, just a handful, like a couple. We got time to talk about such things. Like I said earlier, like, at this rate, 2 hours in, absolutely could see if we could go over to the Sacred Grove, you know, get in a third dungeon, that sort of thing. Okay, so if we got a cam ball... You don't think this thing is loaded, do you? I don't think this thing is loaded. So how exactly would a cam ball end up here? Why would you need to, like, blow it this way? There's not like a cannonball thing in the door. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, there is. Okay. Here's how we do it. We get the cam ball from over here. Here's a cam ball. Wait a minute, no, we pull down on this side. I didn't need to go inside there. Pull down right here. And go inside and do a thing. Perfect. All right. You got a cam ball. We know what to do with it. We're gonna take it outside. We're gonna fire it at someone. Get that big Yeti-looking not a Yeti monster. I should. That big, like, abominable snowman-looking monster. Kind of looks like the. Looks like something from like a Christmas cartoon. But it's certainly not a Yeti because we know what the Yetis look like. And they're actually quite chill. This is their house. Wouldn't do to insult them. Do have a card here. Let's do one of them cards while we're getting this outside and doing a thing. If Paper Mario were to go back to traditional partners again, what kinds would y'all want? I think, like, the classics are, you know, are, like... It'd be worth, like, sticking with some of the classics, like a Babam, I think, is always good. A Goomba, a Koopa. But other than that, I think, like, it'd be cool to see some different, like, enemy types. you know, considered for like you know, Mario partner status. I think a Bullet Bill would be really fun. Like, what if that was the one that you rode in the overworld the same way you rode like the Yoshi in the last game in Thousand Year Door. I guess that's not the last game. It was the last traditional Paper Mario game. How about that? But you know, I think that'd be cool. Chain Chomp would be a cool one. Maybe even I could see like Chain Chomp coming at the expense of like a bomb. Like instead of a bomb, you do a Chain Chomp instead. I think that would be pretty cool. Like a Shy Guy or something. That'd be neat. Are Shy Guys too human-like to be partners in like a Paper Mario sense? Would a Shy Guy be weird? I guess actually... Oh, we're looking for the key for the third... Okay, that's what we're looking for. I was wondering why she was, like, leading us on this wild goose chase. She could just say, like... Because we knew the mirror's on the third floor. It's the key we're looking for, technically speaking. Right, okay. Which I think the key will be right there. What else would be good? I think, like, a para enemy that's not a Para-Koopa would be interesting. You know, like in the Mario Maker games especially, you could make like para versions of just about any enemy. Like there's para everything. There's para Goombas. I guess there's para Goombas in everything. You know what'd be cool? I'll say this. Para Goomba. A Goomba who has wings in your party. Or, like, could the para... Ooh, wait a minute. What if it was, like, an equipment thing, actually? Like, you had some sort of... It could still be a Goomba, but what if that Goomba... You could, like, have, like, specific badges that affected the Goomba specifically? Or, like, otherwise some sort of, like, you know, skill tree type situation. Let's say it's the kind where you can change your mind at any time. Like the later StarCraft campaigns or any number of really good, like, game where, you know, that sort of thing is reversible. And you could be like, okay, I'm gonna spec out my Goomba partner as like a Spike Goomba. You know, spike on their head. Defended automatically from enemies that are attacking from above. And also, they do extra damage. Or a Para Goomba who has like some other extra moves or something. Or like, is there a third type of Goomba? In addition to like Para Goomba, regular Goomba? Big Goomba. They could become like a giant-sized Goomba. Oh, that'd be pretty cool. If you could like modify your partners and make them into like different variants of Mario enemies. I bet that'd be rad, and they could have like different movesets that was associated with each. So like if, you know, I guess a big Goomba and like a Goomba with a spike would both do more damage. Maybe a big Goomba would also stun or something, and maybe like a like Goomba with a spike would also do some sort of like bleed effect or something. Awesome. Hey, or we made it to the thing. I'm gonna stick with the soup. Or I'm gonna stick with the soup for this boss fight, but yeah, that sounds like a good thing. We made pretty good time. 2.5 hours roundabouts. You know, like maybe take off 10 minutes for like setup there. You know, starting the stream up and such. So, kind of just like 2 hours to get all the way to the end of this dungeon. I wouldn't be opposed to going and doing Temple of Time, honestly, at this rate. Assuming this boss goes swimmingly, and there's not like a million billion things to do before we get to the Sacred Cove and, you know, do a thing. I bet there are things to do, though. I bet it's not just go to the Sacred Cove, go in the Temple of Time. I'm gonna need that mirror, so... Oh no. Oh no, this is not good. Not take mirror. That's a good pit. She changed her mind a bit. She's gonna become a boss fight real fast. Pretty cool dungeon, I think. Blizzetta. Whoops. I just need to hit her with this. For some reason, when I'm playing this, I'm thinking about, there's a boss fight in Death's Door that also sort of involves a Yeti. For some reason, I was thinking of that boss fight instead of this one. And I think that one is like 100 times harder in retrospect. This one seems like it might not be that bad, actually. There must be a second phase because that was pretty easy. That was too easy. What's the second phase look like? Alright. Hit the things, hit the cage. Let's go. Again. You know what? This is funny. Like, Wind Waker also did a boss fight where stuff fell on you from above, and the way that you could tell where it was without looking up was a reflective floor. That's funny that they would do that exact same thing again. Like, pretty directly. I guess it makes sense when you have a camera angle like this and you don't have it built in where you can look up. And I'll say maybe this one makes more sense than the last game's one, where, I don't know. It could have just been a shadow. You know? This is a little more involved. Other partners that would be good. I guess, like, new enemies from, like, recent games, right? Would be cool. Like, say, from Wonder in particular. There's a lot of good... There's a lot of good enemies in Wonder that I think would be pretty cool to see as, like, partners or something. You know, like the guys that fire the... Like the... I don't know. Honestly, all this stuff in Wonder, I would just be happy if it was, like, just used as enemies. Like a new and traditional Paper Mario. I wouldn't necessarily need them to be, like, partners as well, though. I think that'd be... I think there's, like, some potential there. All the same, you know? Beautiful. I think we beat her. Wonderful. And I think that, like, the thing that Twilight, that Thousand Year Door did, where there's partners that are, like, you know, not a species that existed. A, in the case of, like, Flurry and Vivian, and B, partners that are, like, other types of NPC, right? Like, it wouldn't be bad to see, like, a toad and a toad partner, right? Similar to, like, Yoshi in the last one. Or, like, I don't know, a Delfino guy. What do they call the Delfinos? I forget. One of them. Wouldn't be bad. A Pianta. There we go. Let's do it. Yeah. Seems like they really cause a lot of bad stuff, so it's good that we collect them. Fortunately, he's cool about this. He understands it was Evil Mirror. It's weird that she bundles up against the cold. I mean, I guess all, like, cold-adapted animals have, like, big fur coats, specifically to bundle them against the cold, but she also just is, like, covered in quilts. You know? Who need mirror? Yeti love story. Alright. That's really good time. Made really good time in that there dungeon. And honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to going and doing the next one right now, right here. Fuck it. Then again, a shorter stream, you know, isn't a bad idea either. Maybe my streams tend to go too long, and maybe it would be good to have like a 2-hour stream on occasion. Let's keep on trucking. I'm going to go back to town. I am going to see what it tells me to go. And then I guess I'm going to go to the Grove, I bet. Because I already have, like, the fast travel point to the Grove. I am not expecting, like, a really large story aside. If there is one, maybe we'll just get through the story aside and then start next time with the Temple of Time. This loathsome piece of crap. How you doing this to me, man? That is my thought right here, right now. I also still do have like 2 or 3 cards left, so you know, I'll pop them as we go. And yeah, let's do it. In fact, I'll pop one right now. Hey, remember when games just added on top of what they already had? I was thinking about this recently, especially in regards to like, I feel like Banjo-Tooie has come up in some of the circles I run in recently. People have been talking about that and like how like, yeah, you know, that was a game that very much just took everything that was in Banjo-Kazooie and just like added, just literally just added on top of it. And I was thinking about this especially in regards to, you know, Spider-Man 2, which does not just do that, and instead like takes away a lot of the best overpowered tools and just reinvents things from the ground up to make it like a, you know, make it so that you're starting at 0 again, essentially, which honestly is kind of, to me, a bit of a killjoy. I kind of would like to have some of my old overpowered tools back, but I guess I understand that they're, you know, that, yeah, you know, they're like, they want to keep it within reason, within limits or whatever. Did we get a fast travel point back to the Sacred Grove? Ah, you know what? That'll be the thing, won't it? We didn't get, like, yeah, we didn't unlock a fast travel back there, so we gotta find our way back. Maybe it'll just be as simple as going through the path we already found, so, you know, not a big deal, but we'll see what happens. Some games, you know, they build on top of what they already had. Like, I think this year's Jedi Survivor did, which I feel like has mixed results because it's like, okay, well, now to add anything on top of what you've already established, you have to just get more weird and more specific and, like, you know, add a million billion button combinations and, like, fringe cases, which, to be fair, is also what Banjo-Tooie had to do, which, you know, maybe is a reason why you shouldn't do that sort of thing. You know, if they ever did a Banjo 3E that wasn't, you know, that wasn't nuts and bolts, they would probably just, like, I mean, honestly, I don't know what the fuck they'd do, but if I were them, I would say that, like, start with the Banjo-Kazooie moves, and probably, like, build on top of that. You know, just... I love Banjo-Tooie as well. You know, and I probably would say that I love it more than Kazooie, in fact, but you probably can't just take that and continue adding on top of it. Yes, ancient temple in the woods. I've been there. Yes, I will go find the temple. I can turn into a dog and cross the gorge myself. It's fine. It's good. I got it. I guess if you're hanging here, I cannot become a dog. And I cannot, like, Midna cannot take off from here. So, strictly because you are in the way, I will use this chicken. But, know that it comes with my, like, you know, I am doing so for only the most technical, for very specific reasons. I think you would build on top of, I think you would build on top of Kazooie rather than Tooie, you know? Maybe you would keep in the idea of egg types. You know, having, like, a whole bunch of egg types and, you know, building that up more. I feel like having more eggs to use in more situations was not a bad idea, you know. But other than that, maybe just, like, play it cool a little bit and, just take the moves that exist and just, like, augment them in ways that you didn't do before. Just show me to the end, please. No, I've already been through this, right, dude? Right? Skull Kid? Skull Kid. I've already done this before, Skull Kid. How could you? Do I really have to do this whole thing again? Kid, come on. I guess we have to hunt down Skull Kid and kick his ass a couple times. Okay, so I'll do that, and we'll go to the temple, and it'll be fine. I mean, I appreciate that it's as simple as this and not like a whole thing. I feel like in Skyward Sword it was reversed, you know? As you went deeper and deeper into the game, there was more and more cruft between the dungeons. Whereas here, there's less and less cruft the farther along you go, which is a benefit, I will say. I'll say that's a better way of doing things in a way that I believe I prefer. There we go. I wonder if they will ever do a Banjo. I feel like Rare is just, you know, there has been some stuff out at, talking about, like, Nintendo, basically noticing that, like, you know, Mario Brothers, the original, was made by 5 people, and 4 of them worked on Wonder, you know, in some capacity. Including, like, the musician, Miyamoto, and the director of the original, you know. And the 5th one still works at Nintendo, but at least there was no announcement of their retirement, his retirement. I believe that the last one was a dude as well. You know, like most people who worked in the industry at that time. Also, I think someone used he, him to when talking about this. When saying this thing that I'm recounting for you now. I believe that I heard that there was never any announcement that he retired, so he's probably still working at Nintendo. Amazing continuity. You know, you don't see that near anywhere else. And I'll say, like, Rare is an exception of that. Like, the people who worked on Banjo-Kazooie, the people who made Banjo-Kazooie what it was, they're not at Rare anymore. And they had already had another crack at it. It was called Ukulele, and it wasn't very good. So, you know, I guess maybe we'll see if some third party or some, like, other company that Microsoft owns wants to have a crack at it, you know, at making a Banjo game. And if they did, like, what would that even look like? You know? Can you just do that in today's modern world and have that be good? Would you want to make it like it was more approachable? I feel like a thing about the original games, you know, older games from like the N64 era and such is that at the time, having to resort to an FAQ, to a player's guide, whatever, was just a lot more common. You know, even in the case of this game here, I had to resort to looking something up, and that sort of thing just happens. Because just, games are confusing sometimes, and it's not clear where you're supposed to go, and you just have to suck it up and get a guide, and find out that way. And I feel like modern gamers, modern players, they're expecting a lot more of an intuitive experience. You know, a lot more just like, you know, you get in, you should be able to figure out where to go. I see the lantern in this room. I don't see where I'm supposed to go next. In this room somewhere? This is the wrong way. I guess I can go into each of these rooms and see if the lights turn on in the room I'm leaving. I already went up there and looked, right? So I didn't see anyone up here. There he is. He's on top of the tree. What the fuck? I threw the thing and fell off the platform. That ended up taking me a step forward and falling off. Damn it. Oh wow, this is actually really handy for just like holding off guys. I bet bow and arrow is the correct thing here. Actually. There we go. Bow and arrow, that's what we want. Anyway, I'll say again of Spider-Man, I really wish it had Impact Web. I honestly thought it would. I thought it would be like, okay, Miles Morales doesn't have Impact Web because he's a different character. You know, and that was how that game was, but... color me surprised that, like, the basic moves that made that first game good are gone, you know? And I'll say, like, right now, if I had to give a recommendation, I would say, like, yeah, probably, you know... I don't know that Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man that you could play. I'll say that. I don't know if it's better than 1. You know, maybe start with number 1. And then don't go on to number 2 or Miles Morales. You know, Miles Morales, I'll admit, it's like more streamlined and stuff, but the combat isn't quite as good as a result of the changes they made. And, well, you know, Spider-Man 2 isn't streamlined, and also it doesn't have the combat the way I like it. So it's kind of a worst of all worlds, unfortunately. The plot seems good, I'll say that much. It might be worth playing independently, you know, just to see the plot. But as far as the game you play, 1 might be better, Morales might be better, which I don't know what that means as far as the star ranking. It might end up at 3 in my books. Then again, maybe the Venom stuff will turn out to be super fun. Maybe there will be overpowered stuff that is fun in the way that Impact Web was, that makes up for it. All I know is it's taking a damn good amount of time to really ramp up to that. All right. We made it to the Temple of Time outside. All right, this has been a quick place to go to. We're going to have to kill like a guy, you know, like just to get a warp point back here. It's gonna drop some stuff on me. Is it not? I thought for sure it would try to set up like a... I thought for sure before we like went into the dungeon, it would drop the things and like really quickly, you know, allow us to set up like a return point, you know? Well, whatever. Hey, I'm not complaining. Honestly, we'll be in this dungeon and we'll be out of it before we know it, so I guess we don't need a warp point right outside its doors. You know? That's fine. Temple of Time. Let's do it. Check this shit out. This is perhaps the coolest dungeon and one of the cooler... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, hang on. Okay. There's probably going to be a enemy fight before we go in there then. Right, the door isn't over here. We gotta go outside the dungeon. So you can see the dungeon is all ruinous, right? And all destroyed. You know, we're kind of inside it right now, except it's kind of all wrecked and gone and busted and just, you know... We're not getting the mirror shard here. Okay, I need to transform into a wolf. Okay, good. They're getting close. And just do that, and there we go. Seriously now. Temple of Time. Okay, there's the teleport point we were looking to set up. Perfect. Okay. Temple of Time, it's all like, you know, rotted, decayed, ruinous, you know? But it is the Temple of Time, so check this shit out. There's a door, and when we open it, on the other side of the door is, appears to be black and white. What is on the other side of the door? It's the past! That's right. And the fucking Ocarina of Time, Temple of Time music plays. It's so fucking good. It's so fucking cool. Oh my god. I'm gonna add the thing. It's time for the Temple of Time. Temple of Time Time. As it's, you know. It's Temple of Time, folks. We're here in the Temple of Time. It's fucking cool. It's very much like it was in Ocarina, though, like, not exactly. Actually, there's no, like, the podium isn't here. There's like the sages on the wall or something. I think those are the sages. The same thing in each case. There's like a owl guy over here. It's a little different from how it was. Also, let's just poke the head out outside and just, like, you know, really take a good look at the ruins before we go in, really. Like, this is what it looks like in the past. Which, you know, like, I guess this room is like, appears to be part of the temple, so it's like sort of a entry foyer. There's this whole... There's where the owls were. Owl 1, Owl 2. The stairs down. And, yeah, the big room here. With all the carvings. And the two guardian guys. Now consumed by forest. This is sort of like the intermediate phase between the Temple of Time in Ocarina and the, like, place where the Master Sword lived in Link to the Past. And, you know, Link Between Worlds as well. Which is a really fun, like, lore thing to do, to tie that up. I also just think this is, like, maybe the coolest idea for a dungeon they've ever had in, like, the entire series. Check this shit out. Here's the room of the Master Sword. You know, the room you know and love from Ocarina. I forget if the podium was rectangular in that. Was it not, like, triangular or circular or something? Also, I think there were multiple levels to it before you got to the sword thing. Anyway, once again, we're going to stick our sword in here, and it's going to recognize what we want. We want to go back into the back rooms. You see, in the Temple of Time, it turns out that was not the whole temple. After all, there's a whole extra section to the Temple of Time. Okay, dude. There's a whole extra section to the Temple of Time over here in this, behind this illusionary window. It's not a real window. And here is the real Temple of Time. You know, the one you never saw in Ocarina. It's been here the whole time. Pretty goddamn cool. Pretty goddamn cool. Real Temple of Time. I'll say, this is like maybe the coolest dungeon in all the series. A bona fide S-tier dungeon, if there ever was one. With a bona fide, like, S-tier dungeon item. It's extremely good. It's extremely cool. You'll never guess how Yeah, there's a missing statue here. That's gonna be the crux of this whole dungeon, by the way. There's a missing statue. We kind of gotta, like, return it or something. Pretty cool. You'll see how it works out. For the time being, what's important is that little guys are gonna weigh down switches, and through that, we will be able to progress. I think I have like 2, maybe 3 cards left. What? I don't get what they have to do with the Temple of Time. I think they're like, whatever. They're weird guys. Let's not worry about what their deal is. It'll come up next time, I reckon, when we go to the last of the three mirror dungeons. But it's not terribly important. Okay, if we want to go through this door, we need to do the thing. We need to get a guy. Where's the thing, though? The key. Key. I'm looking for a key. You think it has something to do with those 2 things over there? Maybe we have to, like, light them on fire or something? I don't see any sticks to do that with. Maybe do it with, like, a bow and arrow. Oh, jeez. Okay, there we go. I don't think I have anything that, like, transfers fire. Oh, but I do have lantern. That's it. Lantern is the key to this first puzzle. You know, one thing I have, like, in the past criticized this game for is, like, not using items after the dungeons you got them in. And I'll say, like, this dungeon's item is, like, a great example of that. Just criminally underused. As is the spinner, which, hey, we haven't had a chance to use since we got it. Since we exited the Arbiter's grounds, and I'm afraid that might... Well, actually, hang on. Is that a thing? No, that's a switch. That's not a thing. We might get a couple of opportunities to use it in this dungeon, but, you know... It's like the second most criminally underused item in the game, the spinner. But the one you get here is like the most criminally underused, but it is extremely good in this dungeon, so, you know, look forward to seeing that. Let's just destroy this. No, we're gonna need something bigger if we want to say, if we wanted to say just, you know, take it down. Without effort. Claw. Grab the claw. Yeah. So I see these things will allow me to get out once I get in there. Is it just as simple as we need to bring pot from the previous room? That doesn't seem right. I have a feeling that these pots cannot go room to room. Yeah, Link just totally, like, just would rather smash it against a wall than take it through a door. Oh, but there are pots up here. Should we not break them? Now, don't I feel silly? I just broke our pots the last time. Without a thought in the world. Now what I need to do, get the thingamajig out. Just go ahead and break it. That's a fun puzzle. You know, you gotta put something breakable on the thing, and then when it comes time to, like, you know, it has a point because it's breakable. You can break it. Good puzzle. I mean, it kind of solves itself, but that's cool in a puzzle sometimes, you know. Not every puzzle needs to be all that intricate or all that, like, difficult. You know, it can just be something that, like, keeps your interest for like 2 seconds. You know? Winnie Roops. This guy, we gotta circle around and, like, hit him in the butt. And then he explodes. It's one of those. There's been, you know, guys like that in every one of this, in a lot of the Zelda games. I shouldn't say everyone. I don't think they're in Tears of the Kingdom. They should be. That'd be a good enemy. Or that, you know, you can't hit directly. Would be cool. Okay, need to take these guys and put them on the switches. Camera getting kind of jittery. Spider-Man 2 also does that. I'll also say as Spider-Man 2, you know, I should say, I've run into a number of glitches, a number of, like, weird stuff, a couple of soft locks, and, earlier today, I was in a mission and I kicked a guy, an enemy, outside of what it turns out was the scope where Spider-Man can move to, but the enemy didn't die, so they just sort of hung out, like, in an area I could barely reach them. And it took me, like, 5 minutes of, like, running just far enough to see them, but not far enough to, like, be like, oh, zip back, this is back, you're out of ground, out of bounds, you know? And use enough moves where I could, like, actually aim at them and then, you know, deal with them, you know? Get them dispatched. I thought I'd have to restart from the checkpoint, and I'm glad that I was able to not. I find that game a little bit tiresome. The plot's getting me, though. Plot is drawing me in. I'll say also, I should mention, Wonder is fantastic. And I finished it, you know, 100%. Don't think for a second, because I'm not, like, discussing it, you know, every hour of every stream, that it wasn't a phenomenal good time. You know, it was. It's just that, you know, now it's over. Now it's time to think about other things. I'll say of Wonder, the badge system was also really good. I really enjoyed finding all the badges, experimenting with them. I do think there's one that is... Hey, here's a place to use the spinner. Isn't that nice? I do think there's one badge that stands above all the rest. And if you're wondering what it is, I would say... Well, it's kind of a spoiler, isn't it? The double jump. The one that's like a double jump. It's not quite a double jump. I won't go into details, but getting a second jump in midair is just the best thing. That's the best modifier, I think, even better than just a glide or even a grapple. Grapple's a little situational, I will say. Didn't use the grapple all that much, all things considered, but you know, as cool as it is conceptually, it's just, like, not useful in most levels, you know? There's also the ones that make you run faster or do other such things that I feel like are going to be useful for speedruns. I'm very curious, like, how the speedrun of Wario Wonder ends up being broken out. You know, like, for any percent, they're going to have to choose, like, the fastest levels, the fastest ways to get Wonder Seeds. And there are a lot of fast ways to get Wonder Seeds, so I would expect them to, you know, have a lot, you know. I'm not going to say their work cut out for them, but I will say that I expect to see some real interesting routing and some really interesting, like, choices as far as, like, yeah, we do this level, then we do this level, then we do this. It's probably going to be a lot of break time levels, first off, and then any level that's, like, really short. I guess the question is, like, are Wonder Seeds always going to be worth getting in a speedrun? Or are you only going to get them in certain scenarios where it's, like, faster than the alternative? A lot of stuff to consider. Also, there'll, you know, be a 100% category. There'll be, like, a special category, I guess. You know, doing that whole thing. And you don't strictly have to do, like, 100% of everything to get to the end of that. Though, you do kind of have to do a lot if you want, like, everything. If you want the final thing, you do have to do everything. Which, you know, would be its own category. But I bet probably also as, like, an intermediate, like, special world parentheses ending with the final trial, not the not you know, the like I don't want to say what it's called, but, you know, not the final in other words. Is it a spoiler to say there is such levels? I don't know. Maybe. I feel like they're, you know, if I don't go into detail about what they're like, it's fine. You know, lots of Mario games have exactly that, you know, darker side, darker side. The final thing in Odyssey, what was that called? The darkest side or something? There's the thing in 3D World as well. Galaxy had it. Galaxy 2 had, like, a similar thing. A lot of Mario games now end with, like, a big fun, like, final gauntlet type level, which I think is just lovely. They should always do that. These guys die before they've even turned on. Not good. Now, you might be wondering, like, what's so great about this dungeon? You know, we're pretty far into it now, and it's not like anything unusual. Not yet, just reasonably good puzzles, and, you know, making our way slowly out. Slowly up. I'll say the best part is, like, the second half, so, you know, wait. See what happens once we get there, you know? You can also, like, if you're watching the VOD, skip ahead, I guess. You could always skip ahead. Really wanted to. Why would you, though? Okay, I got a key so I can go through that door now. Perfect. Exactly what I needed. I like the badge system a lot. And I feel like Wonder is going to be highly, highly influential for, like, platformers going forward. I think that's a great thing, you know? It's good to see, like, a platformer that people buy into and that people believe is going to be, like, you know, bigger than just, like, just better than just, like, a competent game that's really fun, you know? I think Tropical Freeze was about as good as a platform can be without, like, really being, like, out there with it. And, you know, I appreciate that Wonder is going out there and trying to impress and, like, you know, not just by being solid and remarkable and really polished and beautiful and atmospheric and beautiful, but also being, like, unexpected and full of treasures on top of that. You know? That said, I think that still DKC2 is my favorite overall. Though, if they ever were to make, like, a new DKC, I would want them to learn heavily from Wonder. You know? Like, definitely have more short levels like this one does, you know? Definitely have, like, some sort of, like, equipment type deal. I think that was a lovely thing. You know? Honestly, wouldn't mind some sort of, like, the one thing I feel like Wonder is lacking and could use is more, like, variant modes that, like, change up the levels that you have. You know, time trial, other such things where you can, like, replay the stuff and just keep on, you know, trucking. Hard versions of existing levels. I think that would be a good way to take it forward, you know? Just get more replay value out of, like, the levels as they are, you know? And I will say, you know, I hope they patch in some stuff into Wonder. I hope they patch in a time trial mode. I would enjoy that very much if I could, like, time trial levels. I guess with the badge system, there is a risk of, like, okay, well, there is the one badge that always makes you, like, sprint hardcore without stop and go a little faster than normal. That's probably going to be the speedrun badge every time, right? Like, if you could choose any badge in the world to do this, to do the time trial with, it's probably going to be that one, and that's probably going to be unpleasant. Unless that's totally not the case, which I'm curious. I'm very curious about if that's, like, maybe that's not optimum at all, because it turns out, like, no, you want to be able to, like, stop on a dime and turn left sometimes and, like, be able to jump with precision. It's not such that if you get really good enough at the game, you can manage that and make it as good as just, like, regular running and jumping. You know, you're always going to want to have control. I mean, I guess let's see what the speedrunners make of it, and if, like, they even use that badge at all. Maybe they don't even use that badge, and this is all, like, a moot point. Who can say? If I throw this carefully, I can get it up there. That balances them out. Now I need to throw that one up there, and there we go. Beautiful. We're continuing our way up. Very nice. Very good. How about another card? I got more cards here to pull. Not planning to play up the spooky day this year. I'll say, I have said earlier that I do plan on, like, a I plan on streaming, doing a spooky stream this week, playing some Luigi's Mansion. I also plan on maybe continuing that on Halloween itself, assuming we can't finish it in one session. I don't know how long Luigi's Mansion is, if you know what you're doing. Maybe it's just like 4 hours, in which case, like, yeah, you know, Thursday we can just crank it out, you know? Just get it done. I'm unsure about the length of it, let's say. But I'll say, other than doing those streams, I don't intend on like doing anything fancy. I don't have any sort of costume prepared. I don't really think I will be dressing up, and yeah, it'll be a whole thing. I did dress up a little bit last year, though I used an old costume that like barely fit anymore. Turns out I had gained too much weight in the last 8 years, you know, since I put it together. Was Walter White last year. And also, like, any other time I needed a costume, like in, you know, the last 8 years. Which is to say, I didn't need it that often. Like, there was one company thing at my last job where we did, like, an office Halloween thing. I wore it then. And, also, there have been multiple occasions where, you know, the first year I had an apartment, right? Fucking, I guess that was 10 years ago. I was like, okay. More like 10, 11 years ago at this point. Actually, I guess it would be 10 years exactly. 10 years exactly ago. First year I had an apartment, I was like, okay, I should be prepared just in case someone shows up. But then I learned very quickly, very obviously, like, oh, you know, that's never gonna happen in an apartment. You never get trick-or-treaters in an apartment. Never, ever. So don't even bother getting candy. You know, you don't even have to bother around getting candy, you know, just in case. No one's gonna show up. No one's gonna knock. There's not doorknobs or anything of the sort. Or, sorry, there's not doorbells or anything of the sort. You can just, you know, relax and take it easy and just do nothing. And I'll say, like, as a streamer, I do feel like there's some level of, like, oh, it'd be cool to dress up. It'd be nice to be on stream in a costume. But I'll say I have no immediate plans to run out and procure a costume. I have had one in mind for a while. I'd like to do, like, nerdy Solid Snake. Or, not Solid Snake, Naked Snake. From, like, the one time where he's like, in disguise as, like, a scientist. I'd need a lab coat, and that's about it, I guess, as far as, and like a bandana, and I think that would do it. I don't own a lab coat though, so, you know, I'd have to buy one. I guess I could go see, like, how cheap is a lab coat. I could do it. I could pull off something that's like $10 maybe. And I think I do own a bandana. I don't know, though. Ah, Helm Splitter. That's what we need to do here. Glad we got the Helm Splitter. From Wolf Friend. Sometimes it doesn't work. Also, sometimes it does a jumping attack instead of a shield attack. That's weird. I don't get that. Is it because I was holding a direction? Or maybe because it's wasn't valid for that sort of attack. I don't know. This mini boss is whatever. It's just fine. You know, hey, it's one of these. Acceptable. That's an acceptable spin on, like, the Dark Nut fight that's been in or like the fights in like the Spirit Temple in Ocarina against the big guys with the big axes. Folks, welcome to the second half of the dungeon. Now, I'll say, like, usually when I'm, like, timestamping up the VODs, I don't, like, put any sort of, like, timestamp. I usually just have, like, one timestamp for the start of the dungeon, and then it goes until the end of the dungeon, but let's fucking put one in the middle, because, yeah, this is, like, the time where this dungeon comes alive. Because you get this cool staff, and what it does is it takes over guys. It takes over statues. And now, we're controlling statues. I guess that's not dissimilar to Wind Waker. Where also you control statues, but in this case, instead of singing a song that's really slow, you instead hit them with an orb, and as long as you're moving, they're moving with you. Similar to the puzzle guys outside. I suppose it's the same as the puzzle guys outside. Also, the goal is to get the guy into the little bell so that he can be warped further down. He can be warped further down. And also, he can, like, stomp with his hammer. And also, there's sort of other guys we can, like, take over along the way. Like, if you remember, there were little statue guys. You see these guys? They can also be taken over, though they're a lot less, you know. They're a lot less, you know, good, I guess. Also, fuck this gate. This guy can just destroy gates willy-nilly. You can also just, like... Oh, fuck, I'm hitting myself here. You can also just, like, fuck these guys up. Not that we need to fuck these guys up, actually. Come to think of it. Here, what we need to do is lower that. Get him to step on it. To do that, I'm gonna stand on it. Do that. Perfect. And the puzzles from here on out are just like getting through these rooms we've gone through before, but in a way that we can like bring our guy back through it. Where's my hook shot? Here it is. Yow. Maybe I could do something really fast and cheap. I do have like an eye patch, like pirate style, haha. You know, could also be a snake. You know, like a naked snake situation. Big boss, I guess, with an eye patch. That would obscure my vision in a way that's probably not ideal, I'll say. Also, you can destroy these things. Fuck you. Maybe I could try some shit on for, like, Halloween, you know? I do also have, like, a plastic, like, knife, where the idea is to, like, as part of, like, a pirate, like a simple, cheap pirate thing, where, like, I got a knife in my mouth, you know? That sort of deal. I forget when I bought that, because it was for some Halloween purpose, but I didn't end up like pulling the trigger or something. I think last year I just reused my older costume that I had, like I said, the Walter White deal. Keep hitting myself. Okay, Okay, that's too far, so what we need instead is to grab one of these guys. Pull them down. And step on the thing. Oopsie daisy. Go. I suppose also another way to cancel it would just be to pull out another item. This one will involve doing the scale stuff again. This time with a big statue, you know, heavier. A bit more of a to-do, you know? What's that? Probably nothing. I'm not gonna worry about it. Probably just a heart piece. Come to think of it, I don't think we got a heart piece in that last dungeon. Unusual. In the dungeons before that, we were getting heart pieces like left and right. I'm fine with that though. I don't need heart pieces in my dungeons. The solid heart I get at the end is more than enough. Perfect. Okay. Don't hit myself. How are we gonna get over there? Didn't think of that. I had to solve a puzzle just to get over there normal style, so... Yeah, what now? How do I do? Ah! More of them up there. Some of those down, and there we go. It's funny in a lot of ways, like, you know, this, like I said, like, controlling statues was also in Wind Waker, but this is just, like, so much cooler and so much, like, more satisfying to pull off, you know? Just works a whole lot better. I think this is it. Oh, lovely. Not the right button. There we go. Yeah, just kill some of these bugs for me. Thank you. You really don't have to. Just go ahead and go in the bell. That will be that. God damn, this is a cool item. One of the cooler items that has been in the series. I think like one of my favorite, bar none. Need the bow and arrow here. Switcheroonies. Just break through these gates. Fantastic. Walk through this shit. Break that open. And, yeah, stand on that for a second. Wonderful. Ah, it's just a piece of heart. I think that's the first piece of heart we've gotten this stream. Which, you know, in any other Zelda game, that wouldn't be unusual, but this one, you know, there's been loads, you know, in dungeons so far. And we're doing 2 of them, so we're basically done with 2 of them, jeez. Yeah, there's not that much of this dungeon left, I will say. I'll say this as well. This might be the best escort mission in any game ever. The best escort mission in any game ever. I don't think that's... I don't think that's, you know, a controversial statement. This is just one of the cooler things in this game, period. And the fact that it is, if you think about it, an escort mission should be, like, incredible to, like, anyone who thinks about it for too long, you know? Like, yeah, we're escorting a statue down a temple, and it's, like, the coolest shit. Because, well, part of it is that this statue is, like, a badass, is, like, destroying things that never before in the series were destroyable. You know? Never before in the series could you, like, just destroy a wall quite this way. Even with, like, the ball and chain, or, like, a gate, or, like, oh, here's, like, a big statue enemy. They're big and tough. Bombs won't do it. Nah, it just, like, makes quick work of literally everything in its path. It's just, it's cool. It's just cool. And it's especially funny considering, like, 3 of Wind Waker's dungeons involve escorting either an NPC or, like, various statues. And the escort elements of those dungeons, by comparison, they blow. You know, they're not that good. They're not that good at all. If we're being 100% honest, they are, weak. And, like, at best, like, tolerable, you know. It's not what you want. You don't want, at best, tolerable. You want, like, you want something like this where you're like, oh, shit, I'm excited. I'm happy. You know. Part of it is that the ability to, like, switch is on a button. And the other part of it is that there's only, like, one... this is the only time we're gonna see this particular, like, situation, you know? Like, after this dungeon, there's not gonna be anyone to escort. It'll all be, you know, a matter of the past. I want to go ahead and break that open real fast. Also, it is interesting, like, hey, this whole dungeon, I've done it in Link mode. After, like, 2 other dungeons where, you know, sometimes you'll have to, like... The last 2 dungeons, you had to, like, switch back and forth a good deal. So, in this one, the fact that you're just, like, trucking, and as a human, 99.5% of the time. Literally 100% of the time if you don't go for this, whatever this is. What did this do? I'm not sure what it did. It might have been mandatory or something. Whatever that switch does, it's permanent, so... You know... Probably did something good. Maybe it opened this gate or something, which I could just destroy as well. So probably not. Probably not. Oh, right, we have a hook shot for a reason. Hook shot. One last card here tonight. We're nearing the end here. Perfect time to whip out that last card. I watched Back to School. Never seen it, I don't think. That's a Rodney Dangerfield movie where he goes back to school as like a rich billionaire, millionaire who like got really successful without like a formal education, and he goes to college to hang out with his son and be like, you know, and be Rodney Dangerfield, do his usual shtick, which is kind of funny. It works. Hey, you know, occasionally Rodney will say some of his one-liners, you know, say some of his material, and it's kind of funny in the way that Rodney Dangerfield is, you know, pretty funny. He's a funny dude. He's a funny guy. The story is kind of a mess. It's not like that compelling character-wise, but you know, Rodney makes a few jokes that are pretty funny, and it's not a bad way to spend like, what's it, an hour and a half, maybe upwards of 2 hours. Not bad at all. Did not mind watching that. I was kind of looking for something to watch while I played like you know, finished off Mario last night, which yeah, you know, went for 100%. Finished it like right after the movie finished, which was nice. I don't watch that many movies, but maybe I should watch more. You know, that's kind of my thought. I saw that there was a, you know, the guy from, Jesus, what's his name? There was another movie on Amazon from the guy, what's his name? He's in... Leslie Nielsen. Leslie Nielsen. There was another movie from him that I had never heard of. I thought about checking it out, but ultimately decided not to. Maybe I should just watch it, though. Why not? I like Leslie Nielsen. It's probably pretty okay. Who knows? What's the deal here? I see. One last thing to make sure you know, like how these guys work. I feel like sometimes we could be spawned like closer to where we fall in some of these rooms. I feel like Ocarina would have spawned, well, maybe actually, as I say that, I'm remembering Ocarina Shadow Temple and going like, and times where I fell pretty far into a room and found myself at the start. Actually, I guess Ocarina was maybe the original that did it this way. And I'm remembering times in Majora's Mask Randomizer that was just as, you know, fraught, I guess. I guess this has been the way that these games do this, as far as like spawning after you fall goes. I don't know, maybe Wind Waker did it differently. Who can say? Who remembers? Oh, fuck, we forgot to get the... Damn it. Didn't get the key. Where's the key? We need the key. Let's check the map real fast. The only chest... Oh, there's a room halfway up. I'll say this, I hope the game is, like, not weird about this. It's not a case where we have to, like, take the guy back up, is it? Good, okay. Once the guy is there, he's set in stone. You don't have to, like, you know, do multiple trips or something. That would be ridiculous if that was how this game worked. I'll say of movies. I was thinking about watching some westerns. I saw a video about The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. And then I watched like the Red Letter Media video about it. I was kind of intrigued. I don't know that I've ever like given it a shot. You know, maybe I might have seen it once. My dad is into like westerns and stuff, so maybe he like put it on, but the way they're describing it made it sound like it was actually like, you know, compelling in a way that I didn't know. Also, it's funny to learn that like, you know, it's called the Dollars Trilogy, but when it was originally made, it wasn't really intended as such. That was sort of like more of a marketing thing than anything that came up in retrospect. To the point where the main character of those ones, he's called the Man with No Name, but he actually does have a name in each of the 3 movies. It's just that it's a different name in each of them because, you know, at least with the first 2, they weren't intended to be a set. And the third one sort of like, you know, was in a way, but also is still different, you know? Should have destroyed that gate on the way down. My mistake, I guess. Wait, didn't I destroy that gate on the way down? Maybe it gets undestroyed or something. When we get the key, we'll warp out and just walk in, you know? That'll be the best way to do it. Okay, let me just check my map real fast. Floor 7 has what we're looking for. I don't know how we get it without our dude, since the dude is already like, oh, fuck me. Well, I guess actually this is actually no big deal. Because all the gates other than the first one are gone. Perfect. Should have destroyed that one on the way in. Or before leaving. Doesn't matter, it's fine. Not really a big bother, it's just mildly annoying. Should have thought to destroy that one as well, I guess. Ah well, live and learn. This should be where it is. This is floor 6, so yeah, upstairs. There's a thing right there. You just grapple up to the top here. What is this perch for? I don't quite understand, but whatever. Wonder if we can make this faster. Know what we can do? Go ahead and walk that guy over. Go ahead and walk this guy over. Then go ahead and, you know, pull him back a bit. Damn it. Yeah, whatever. Okay. We gotta walk over and pick up before we can do this. That's... But we are saving decent enough time here. Alright, I see where we need to go. It's this room, right? Let me see. Yeah, it's this room. And path leaves this room and doesn't come back, so yeah, we need to do it here. That doesn't have enough reach, so what we need... some more guys here. Actually, might have been enough already, but whatever. 3 might have been plenty. There we go. From here, we can make it up here, and perfect. This is a good place to hide something. Little out of the way, but you know, hey. My fault for not thinking as we were going down. Oh boy, a stamp. I'll say I have no intention of killing every Poe in the game. Like, 0. That's not gonna happen. You know. Honestly, like, next stream we're going to go do, like, the City in the Sky. After that, there's just like 2 more dungeons. I would expect maybe two streams? Maybe 3. I could see it being done in 2, honestly. There's not a lot to the second to last dungeon. You know, there's not a complicated dungeon, more of a combat dungeon than anything. Alright, I have that whole diving move. I also have this for this guy. Beautiful. Just gotta grapple up there. And I think what I need to do is pull these things up and plop them down on the things. Sort of in an awkward spot, but should be fine. Yep. I will also say of movies, there are some anime movies that I've been meaning to watch, but I don't know. For anime movies, it's a different situation. You know, it's not just he can't multitask when watching one of them quite as well. You know, if they're subtitled and all, like it just doesn't work half as well. Whereas like back to school, I can just put it on and play Mario, but I'd be a lot less willing to do that for like Ghibli movies, say, or the anime movie of the Teasing Master Takagi-san, which I really do need to watch at some point. I like that series a lot, Teasing Master Takagi-san. It's a good series. Oh, I forgot I was just gonna walk, but it's gonna be a short walk. It's fine. This will be a fast walk back to the entrance. Shouldn't take but a minute. I started rewatching the Ghibli films like a couple weeks ago. Then it was sort of derailed by like, you know, some travel and stuff, which was fun, but, you know, did derail all that business a good deal considering it's been like multiple weeks now, and haven't watched one since My Neighbor Totoro. The next one is, I believe, As the Wind Rises, which is supposed to be a very dark and very serious one, which, you know, given the like fare of normal Ghibli films, I can't say I'm not very curious of like what exactly that's going to be like. You know, just like a very serious Ghibli movie where it's just dark and depressing and like deals with the themes of like war and loss and stuff. You know, from what I hear, it's a very personal movie that's like very sad and tragic and like dark in a way that like, yeah, these other movies are for children. What the fuck is this one going to be like? You know, and not only are they for children, but they have like the edges sanded off just to be safe for children. You know, be as safe as possible for kids. I'm really curious. It's just that, you know, not that I don't have time. It's just that it's easier to justify something that is like where you can do two things at once than something where you have to do one thing at once, I guess. One of the things I've always liked about streaming is that, you know, while I stream, I have to focus on the game at hand. There's no, you know, otherwise if I was playing through this game, I'd be 100% watching like Back to School or something stupid while I played it, you know. I would absolutely be pairing this with the dumbest comedies in the world. But it's nice, on the other hand, to focus and to, like, you know, talk through my experience, I guess. Whatever. This is a cool boss. It's alright. I don't think this is the best boss in the game or anything, but the way that you damage the boss is really cool. I probably need my bow and arrow out. That guy stomps down on the lights, but you had to put it there first. So you know. We gotta aim carefully. Alright, here we go. This is cool. Fucking just pound this spider with this fucking statue robot thing. Even if this is a boss we've seen many a time, something on the ceiling, you gotta shoot it down, it comes down to you, and then you can damage it. This like, the way it ties in with the the dungeon's like basic ideas is you know, remarkable. It's real cool, I'll say. Maybe it's not. I mean, I remarked. It's remarkable. You can remark on it. I guess that much is proven just by the fact that I have remarked. Not like it's the best thing ever, but it's really damn cool. Cool if you could get in multiple hits there, but I know you can't. More babies, then nope. Okay, we're just gonna do more damage. More babies. All right, we sorted those babies before they were a problem. Very good. Convenient, her, this boss coming over to us, saving us the time of moving over her way. That's a nice and simple one. Just 3 hits in your house. No second phase. No nonsense. Just hey, get her on the ground. Wait a minute. Ha ha! Okay, I shouldn't say things. I should wait a second before I say things. This is a lot sillier by comparison, though. Oh, also, it was just... I just had to sort it. Okay, that's fun. That's cute. I like that a lot. That was a good little twist. Two chunks of mirror down. This stream. Technically, there's one already that we had. So we have 3 total. Just 1 left. Sick. That was great. And hey, we're at the 4-hour mark right about now, which is, you know, not longer than any other playthrough stream I've done in the last couple of months. That was right on the mark, right on the money. This was not overly long. Well, insofar as far as a Twitch stream can be. I guess it was long, you know, hey. 4 hours is long, but it wasn't overly long. It's only becoming midnight like in 2 minutes here in the present. Here when I'm recording it, so that's nice. There is nothing we need to do but leave, so let's get out of here. It's gonna ask us to save, and I think we're gonna call it a night. I say I think we're gonna call it a night. I know we are. I'm hitting save. Beautiful. Oh, let's exit the temple just as a quick thing. Just to show, like, a small detail. Oh, also, let's use this thing on the... Let's grab this real fast. Oh, crap. I don't know what I expected. I guess I expected something cool. I just got, like, you know, one of the collectibles that the game has. Which, sure, I guess that would be what would be behind one of these things. Just a collectible, hey. Okay. And a piece of heart, you know, hey, I'll take it. That's more what I expected. Temple of Time, hell of a cool place. That ceiling. It's cool, so cool how they took the original, you know, Ocarina of Time temple and just, like, made you return to it through its ruined state. That was just, mwah, amazing. Amazing. And just like the most time-related Temple of Time has been. I know the Temple of Time did move you between the past and the present, the future and the present, in Ocarina, whichever way it is, the past and the future. But it kind of felt like more the sword was doing that rather than the temple, so, you know, the temple itself almost felt timey just as a coincidental thing. Anyway, small plot detail there that's, small plot bit there, but yeah, the Dominion Rod doesn't work anymore. You can't even swing it like I'm hitting the button. It does nothing. You restore it, I think, but it doesn't even do that much after this dungeon, even in general, so, you know, kind of a shame. Also, hey, we can see that I've caught up with the last time I played the game. Like, look there in the save system here. Like, the last time I played the game, I had this many hearts. I apparently had been playing for 10 hours longer, so go figure. I guess on stream I've been more efficient than I otherwise would be. Huh. Weird. That said, I was in the middle of City in the Sky. Maybe I spent 10 hours in City of the Sky. I remember getting very lost in City of the Sky, and then sort of bailing out at that point, but I will say I've beaten the game before on the GameCube, so, you know, don't get me wrong here. We're not, like, going into uncharted territory or nothing. I've charted it before. I know what's coming. Kinda, you know. But it has been, like, over a decade since the last time I saw anything past the middle of City in the Sky. That's gonna do it for tonight. Hey. Let me go ahead and pull up the old schedule. Pull up the old schedule here. Mondays at 8 p.m. Central will continue being the playthrough day. And on that being the case for, you know, the foreseeable future. Thursday, I will be back on Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, for somewhat of a spooky stream. Haven't done anything of the sort this whole, like, October season, this whole October month. Sort of been too busy. There's been too many games coming out to justify spending a Thursday on, like, a spooky aside or, you know, doing a spooky playthrough. And also, I didn't want to disrupt, like, Twilight Princess or replace any of these streams with, say, something more seasonal, you know? I want to get through it, you know? So, for Thursday, I'm going to do Luigi's Mansion. Let me Google how long to beat Luigi's Mansion. Is it like 4 hours? 7 hours is what how long to beat says. Main story, maybe 6.5. Yeah, okay, shit. That sounds good. I feel like we could do it maybe Thursday, half of the game, maybe? And then Halloween night, the rest of the game. That sounds like a pretty decent plan to do, like, 2 streams. Friday will be viewer levels, and I will say it's not on the schedule, but next week I'll be doing a Tuesday stream on Halloween, I think, and then no Thursday stream next week, and then the stream-anniversary stream will be on Friday, and it'll be like a whole all-day affair that also does include viewer levels towards the end after I played through, like, all of Banjo-Kazooie in one session, which should be fun. I think that about covers it. I'm gonna add those details to the stream schedule before the next stream, let me tell you, so that y'all will be able to just see what's coming, you know. Because there is a bunch coming and crap. We stand over here. This is a good place to stand. Nice little vista, you know. What's sword in hand, Link? Sword in hand is cool. Ah, oh, that was the camera. Very good pose, Link. Anyway, I'm gonna send y'all out. Let me see who's streaming right now. Do the raid. Going back to what we were talking about at the start of the stream, I don't know, YouTube. I guess YouTube just ends the stream, like, at this point. You know, don't even bother with the raid because they don't have that over there. Let's see. I see that Super Hyro is playing Mario Wonder. I see that Chastasis is also doing Mario Wonder. How about Mario Wonder? Also to do Glitchy Rando, JCog. JCog's a very big streamer. I don't watch that much of him, but I do like Paper Mario Rando a good deal. Sure, whatever. Let's go with JCog, Glitchy Rando. Gonna be a very small raid, so I don't know if he'll, as a bigger streamer, will really appreciate it. But whatever. Let's mix it up a little bit. That sounds like a plan. We were talking about Paper Mario a bit earlier. Also was talking a lot about Wonder earlier, but whatever. I'm gonna go with that. Anyway, folks, I will see y'all on Thursday for Luigi's Mansion. I think that sounds like a great idea. Friday will be viewer levels, and if you're looking for more Twilight Princess, that'll be next Monday around 8 p.m. Central. I'll think about doing YouTube simul stream, whatever, but because of the way viewer levels works, it might be weird. I'll see you on Thursday, y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your week, middle of your week, whatever. I'll see you then. Bye, folks. And I'm stopping the stream now. Here we go. Bye, folks, for real.